The following podcast is recommended for mature audiences only. The following podcast is recommended for adults only. Maturity is not a requirement.
Hello and welcome to episode 52 of Dear Download, a podcast where we get to share our most intimate and treasured memories of Download Festival. We'll talk about each year, the bands we saw, the bands we missed, and everything else noteworthy that happened across the weekend. Also, we'll touch upon any news, other festivals, and the music industry past, present and future. This week is a bit of a different week for us, but also very, very cool. We've had loads of guests on, and you'll hear them all throughout this episode, so it won't be much of just me and Simon. We'll just be here for the intro and for the outro. So as always, I'm Adam and I'm here with Simon. How are you doing?
Hello. Good day to you, sir.
Good. Good day. Yeah, awesome. We've actually recorded all three of the, I don't want to say interviews, but that's what I'm going to keep saying. I'll keep coming back to it and saying interviews accidentally. So that's just what I'm going to call them.
Okay.
Yeah, we've recorded all three of them now, and they are very, very cool, aren't they?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Interesting in three very different ways, which is very good. So this is going to be a fun-packed one because it is literally three different linear subjects that go off onto very many other tangents. So yeah, this is a really, really great episode.
Yeah. So I don't know what order I'm going to be putting them in yet, but we do have. So we've had Stu back to talk about a sort of a recap of his experience of RIP. He came on, as a lot of you will know, beforehand to talk about RIP, but he'd never actually done it at that point. So yeah, it's a bit of a recap, how he found it. And that was really cool. That was really cool to hear his sort of experiences and what he was expecting to what actually happened. We've also got Antisaint back on again. We've got it was Matt and Andrew from Antisaint, who we had on again previously to talk about Download. They came on to talk about how it went for them as band members. So similar to Stu, but also, like you said, completely different.
Yeah, a good look behind the curtain, as you would say. It's really nice to interview a band after playing Download and before.
Yeah.
So we can get their differences in, like you said, about the same thing about Stu and RIP, what they expected, what they got. And they do have some nice little, things and insights into what it's like backstage at Download. So, yes, stick around for that, definitely.
Yeah, and one thing I was actually really interested to hear about was how it's different to American festivals. And they said we didn't really have that many festivals over there. They just have epic shows that go everywhere, which I'm sure a lot of us will know by seeing the lineups and the tour announcements and thinking, you bastards, why aren't you coming to England?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And our third guest is a friend of mine. As you'll hear when we start talking, I've known her for over 20 years. I've said on the podcast before, I started going to local gigs because we had a pretty good music scene here. Well, we always have done. So I started going when I was about 15, and as far as I remember, Hannah was always there. She was a couple of years younger than me, so she was going from a much younger age than I was. So yeah, that was really cool to have her on. We haven't always been close friends for the whole time. She's had her friends groups, I've had mine, but I've always say hello when I see her. So it was really cool to have her come on and talk about Rock Retreat, because they stayed over at Melbourne Hall in Rock Retreat. So I do get it wrong many times.
He got it wrong on the Discord, then he made all of us say it wrong. Then Stu wrote in with a question and he got it wrong. It's fantastic. So yeah, stick around for that as well, because it's a very good conversation. Yeah. And a lot of fun was had. So yeah.
Yeah. I actually saw Hannah, I think it was only about 2 days before Download. I think it was a Monday before Download in the supermarket. I was doing my shopping and I saw them buying bottles of water and I was like, you must be doing your Download shopping as well. And I did actually say to her then, like, I might invite you on and have a chat about Rock Retreat and what it's like, because I had seen her posting on like the Facebook groups asking other people if they knew what was going to be happening. It seems like nobody knew what was going to be happening, not even Download.
No.
But I did think about before I'd seen her there, like asking her in one of the questions she put on Facebook, like if she would come on, and I thought nobody else knows that I know her. Like so it'd just be a weirdo asking a random question about coming onto my podcast because you're talking about Rockwood Tree. So I sort of held back on that, but yeah, luckily I did see her a couple of days beforehand, and she probably sort of was taking things in, knowing that she was going to be talking about it as well, which was quite cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, so that's what's coming a little bit later. How have you been the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, good. Not much has happened, to be honest. Like, well, same as last time, really. Still gearing up for Bloodstock.
Yeah.
And just waiting stuff out, really. Yeah, just waiting to the end of the year. It's Vicky's sister's wedding this weekend. So
another wedding.
That'll be interesting. Another wedding, so the third one. But this is the one that I don't have to do anything for, so I can get extremely twatted from the get-go. So, yeah, can't wait to do that, which would be great. I do have a very special announcement that I need to make. So some of you may be aware that I do make music. I have been making music for a while now, just mainly instrumental electronic stuff, as Mercury Knight, which is like my electronic version of myself, shall we say. But I am releasing a new EP in September, and I am releasing a single for that on August 25th, so it'll be out on all major platforms, and it does contain vocals, as does the whole EP. So yeah, if you're a fan of any type of sort of electronic music or anything 80s based, I think this might be up your street, and I'll promote it a little bit more and get you guys to try and interact with it. But I'm very excited. So the single's called 9 Lives, and it's out on the 25th of August. And the EP will be out in September. I don't have a date for that yet, but the EP itself is called Entombed. So
nice.
It's going to have 4 tracks on it. So yeah,
awesome. Looking
forward to everyone checking that out and hearing it. Yeah, it's the first time I've put vocals over my electronic stuff. Normally I just do instrumentals. And I thought, I sung in bands before, why don't I try putting some vocals over it? And it worked really well. So I was like, from now on, I'm just going to do vocals over the stuff. Might do a couple of instrumental tracks here and there, but for the most part, I think I'm going to start to stick vocals over it. So yeah, I've gone proper 80s voice on this first single. So I'm excited for everyone to hear it. But yeah,
awesome.
I'll let you guys know about that closer to the time. But yeah, so a month away till it's released.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, be good fun.
Yeah.
But apart from that, yeah, nothing much, mate. What about you, sir?
Me, same as you. Nothing too much. No, nothing too much. And well, yeah, we should probably make our way into the interviews then, because some of them are quite long. So what normally happens when we do interviews? Our guests don't always have a means of recording. So Simon will normally record the whole chat, like his end and our sides of it as well. So I normally do say I can't do a lot of editing for this. If there might be little coughs in the background, which I'm sure is to be expected when you have guests on. I've listened to podcasts before where the sound's just awful because they got a guest on. Not that the sound's going to be awful, but you accept it. You don't think badly. So yeah, I'm sure it's acceptable. But yeah, so it might sound a little bit different, just to be aware of. But shall we have Ronnie bring our first guest in?
Oh yeah, that's God. Where's Ronnie been? He's been away. He's been on holiday for a bit, I think, isn't he?
Has he?
Ronnie? He's been off. Yeah. We'll call him in. Hold on. He's something's happening. No, Ronnie. Those are my crisps. You know that's my thing. Come on. Fuck off. All right, just get off. Have them. Just do the intro.
Sing for me, devil!
Okay, now we are joined by Stu. Stu, you've probably heard us talking about him many times before. Stu very kindly offered to come and help out with our Discord. Then we had him on the show for the RIP special. Did we have you on before that? I can't remember. We'll find out in a minute.
The first time, yeah.
That was the first time. And then Stu went on to make his own YouTube channel and did a vlog about RIP itself as well, which I'm sure a lot of you probably have seen because it blew up. So Stu, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. And thank you for having me back on again. It's a pleasure to be back. Slowly just going to worm my way in a little bit more until I officially consume Dear Download.
No worries.
Yeah.
Um,
No, thanks for having me back.
But you know what? It's a pleasure, and I'm happy for that to happen. If I'm honest. Yeah, no, it's really cool. You have really helped us out massively since you sort of joined the team. I guess we could say we have said that a few times.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. It's been just a little over a month since download, hasn't it? And you did say to me the blues are hitting a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, so obviously it was such a good time. Being able to watch everyone else's vlogs and kind of relive it as much as I can from other people's perspective, and then watching my own vlog in preparation for this episode with you guys tonight. It's making me wish we could do it all again.
Yeah,
we've still got to wait a little while till we're back there. So, but we have obviously got Bloodstock coming up, so that hopefully fill a little bit of a gap. Anyway,
I think it will. I think it'll fill a big gap. As you all know, I'm not going this year, I'm afraid. I really wish I was now. But yeah, so we're going to talk about a little bit about RIP and how it was for you, because it was your first time doing RIP. Was it what you expected and all that in a little bit? But generally, how was download? I can't remember how many times you've been to download before, but how was it for you as a whole?
Yeah, so I think off the top of my head, I think this was my 8th. My first year being 2012, which was the 10-year anniversary. But in general, as a whole, the festival, it was brilliant. The lineup seemed to be, made for me, which hasn't happened since 2012. So it was really good, start to finish. I couldn't fault it personally. I know there's been a lot of people complaining, moaning and this, that, and the other. But for me, start to finish, it was brilliant. There was no faults. It wasn't oversold. Live Nation can't control the sun. Sorry.
No.
It was a sold out festival. It is what it is. It's what you've got to expect. But can't fault it at all.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm thinking the same. It's pretty one of my favorite years ever, I would say.
Definitely. It's definitely way up there. Like top.
And I think with
5.
with the community that we do have now, obviously I went on my own for the first time ever, but because we got this community, you never truly felt alone, if you know what I mean, because we obviously met up on the Wednesday night. Everyone got to know everyone. Everyone could put a face to a Discord name. So then you'd spot each other during the other days, and you'd stand and have a chat for the next hour. You'd be like, what band are you going to see now? You'd go and join them. So no, again, you feel as though you're alone, but I don't think you're ever, sounds cheesy as, but you're never truly alone at download.
No, I agree with you though. I think that helped this year. We're meeting up with everyone, and then you'd see people again, and you'd know who they were, say hello, or they would come up to you and say, "Oh, you're right," and you'd be like, "Yeah, man, sweet." So yeah, I think that really made a big difference, and why it's definitely one of my favourites.
And it'll be repeated year after year.
Yeah, sure. I think so. I had it this year. I'm not sure if I said on a previous episode, but when I went down to watch Antisaint, I saw the first person I saw was Alexander Toon, and we just we were both sort of walking, and we joined up, and we just started talking as if we were old friends. Like it wasn't a hi, how are you doing? It was just a general chat straight away. Like it was
natural,
weird,
straight,
but also very cool. Yeah,
nice.
But yeah, you said so you said then that you went on your own. I have obviously, after seeing your vlog, you did actually make friends with the people around you, which I think most people will, won't they? Like you just get to know the people. How was it? How was it going on your own?
Yeah, so I think within the time that it took me to get set up, I had a quick walk into the village to the co-op. I bumped into Sai and Ben and all the other guys. In the time it took me to do that and then come back probably within an hour, the group next to me, I mean, I'm pretty outgoing anyway, so I'll talk to anyone, ended up being taken in by these guys next to me. Lovely bunch, really are. But yeah, I think if you are on your own, you know, even just a hi, how you doing, it really does help. People will talk to you. Some people didn't talk to me, but whatever. I'll try the next group until someone does actually want to talk to me.
Yeah.
But you'll always find someone that'll, take you in or whatever. See, I know a lot of people might have friends that are into the same kind of music as them, but you shouldn't let that stop you from going to, something that you think you'll enjoy. Just go for it. It's worth it in the end.
I was surprised to see in your vlog that it was a really short walk to the village. I was under the impression that RIP was closer to the arena, which it is, but that meant it was a bit further away from the village. That's maybe why they have their own sort of entertainment there. You got a bar there, you got the quiz and everything. But yeah, no, it was very, very close, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I thought the same looking at the map, because my sister and brother-in-law actually went and camped in Eco, and we were obviously planning on meeting with each other. But then when I saw on the map how far RIP Sleepy Hollow was from the village, District X, Doghouse, whatever, I was thinking it's going to be a bit far for me to meet you guys, have a skinful and then have to stumble all the way back to RIP. When in reality, it wasn't far at all. And yeah, as you say from the vlog, remind myself, I'm sure it was 2 minutes from RIP Sleepy Hollow to the co-op, and then from the co-op it was literally 20 seconds. So all in all, about 2.5 minutes to the village.
I don't think though that download
ridiculous.
map you were saying before, it doesn't do justice to any distance. So sometimes when you look at it, you're like, that looks really far away, but it's not. So yeah, it's hard to solve that with a festival map, but yeah.
That's it. Yeah, and vice versa. Sometimes you'll think, oh, that's right next to that, but then in reality,
yes,
it's
you're like
jaunt.
miles away. It's true.
Yeah, but how close everything was together, it was definitely a big bonus for RIP itself. I mean, guest area as well. That was within the walk, obviously, to the arena. And whilst we're on the subject, walks to the arena, I think that was, again, 2.5 minutes. So it's, you don't have to worry about packing enough drinks for the journey.
Yeah,
or
you
anything
go back.
like that.
Oh, yeah, you go back and get drinks like you could at Sonosphere.
Yeah. But no,
I'll
it
do
was
that.
great.
Yeah.
What have I said to you about mentioning that festival? It's a no word on this podcast.
No. But yeah, to get to the arena from RIP, you have to go to the guest area as well, which is really cool. All right, we won't talk about Sonosphere. We'll talk about the press pass and the guest area that Simon also couldn't go to.
You said it again. Yeah, but I can get things like that in the future. Again. The word of which we cannot speak. I can no longer do that.
No, that's true. Hey, do you know what? Let's go on. Let's go off on this one.
It's impossible.
I was looking at previous looking at the Sonosphere lineups recently with Kelly. I think the last year they actually had before it was cancelled was Metallica and Iron Maiden. And I thought, no wonder why they ran out of money. Metallica and Iron Maiden in the same year.
Yeah. I think it's because they were trying to compete so heavily with Download. They were trying to outbook Download. And for a few years, if you look at their lineup, it's actually way better than the Download lineup.
Yeah.
So they were actually outbooking them for a couple of years. But they just didn't have the stability to keep it going, which is a shame for the people that missed out on it, because I kind of always wanted to go. But like, once you were done with Download, I was like, what money do I have left to go to another giant festival? So yeah, sucks.
Cool. But yeah, so sorry. So back to the guest area. The guest area is massive, and it was always pretty much empty, wasn't it? It was definitely a nice place to go.
That's what I was going to say to you. I was going to say, when you were walking, because you have to walk through the guest area, right, to get to the stages.
No, it branches off. So you go from RIP.
Okay.
It kind of branches off to the arena, but within 15 meters, you're then in the guest area.
Yeah,
so it's
I
you
just
don't
want
have
to
to
know
walk
how
through
busy
it necessarily.
How busy it was. Like, did you walk in there and you were like, "There's no one here," or was it like sometimes you walk through it was rammed, and other times it would be like no one there?
So of the mornings, there was never more than, I'd say, 20, 25 people there.
Okay.
If you're thinking the arena opens at, I want to say, it's 12 o'clock on the latter days.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, I may be wrong, but I think the guest area opens at 11:30. So you've got half an hour to go into the guest area before you go into the arena. But when we were getting there for 11:30. Yeah. And as I say, there was probably 20 people. there at that point. And then the most people you'd see there was just before the headliners came on, where you're probably looking at, I don't know, a couple hundred people. So it was never truly rammed as you saw it in the arena itself.
Get you.
No. And that really surprised me. It really did. How quiet it was in there. Like, yeah, if you needed a place to get away from like the busyness and just have a bit of space to yourself, then you could go to the guest area.
To be fair, though, probably if the weather was worse, you'd probably have more people there because they're closer to their tents as well.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Yeah, the weather
the
probably
bars
didn't
covered
help.
by like a gazebo almost.
Yeah.
So I was thinking the same. If it were to be, pissing it down, at least people have got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
So I think everyone was just out enjoying themselves in the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
This year, obviously.
Yeah. So it's probably been busier when the weather's been worse, but it's been really good for the last few years. So it's probably been no one in there.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the bar. I think there was more drinks at the bar than there was. And was it a normal taps? Were they pouring them as you paid for them? I can't remember.
No. So
as
they
we said,
still
I was
pour
quite
them
drunk
by.
when we went.
They still pour them by the dozen, and then they just go to the back and get you an already poured pint. But I think there were more options in terms of like your hard seltzers and cocktails and stuff like that, maybe. But no difference in price. All exactly the same prices. Still offered the Barclay card discount, but just a bit nicer, just a bit fancier.
Yeah, and like you said, being undercover, and it was like carpets and everything. I think was there carpet?
Settees, yeah. Carpets,
yeah.
settees, beanbags. It's just like another world. Obviously, saying I've done this is the 8th download. Doing it general for so long, and then coming and seeing this, you realise like how much you've been missing out on. How everyone else's experience is so different, just beyond that line of just beyond the main stage. But yeah, it's definitely an experience.
But at what cost?
Yeah.
That's a quote from something. I can't think of what it is now.
A big cost.
A big cost.
Yeah, a big cost. You've already got your ticket for next year. For next year, ROP, haven't you? Bought it early access.
Yeah.
How much you paid?
Early bird, but I don't think early bird holds any meaning anymore now with adaptive pricing.
No.
So obviously it was £615 last year. Last year being this year, sorry. So you'd expect if you do early bird, you'd get it
that long ago.
I know, yeah. So you think early bird, I'm going to get it for £650 this year, but if you're not on it within the first 5 minutes, you can guarantee you're not going to get it true early bird price. So it went from 615 to 650 to 675, which I got because I got FOMO and I thought if I don't buy it now, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to miss the guest area. I'm going to miss going for a nice poo in the middle of the day in the guest area. But then it went from 675 to 700, and I think it ended at 715, and then all the early birds sold out. So again, they've sold out so far. So
yeah, I think I did see it went up to 755 after that. So it was almost £150 more expensive just because it was popular. Like I said, the dynamic pricing.
Yeah, that's so rubbish.
We can charge more for this. Yeah,
so rubbish.
Which is obviously very wrong.
Yeah,
but then it makes you think if that was the early bird price again, air quotation marks. What's the general sale price going to be? Is that then going to be 755 and then adaptive pricing will take it up to 815? We just don't know.
Yeah, shit. That's true.
Would you still pay 815?
No. That'd be the line drawn. I think. I mean, I even considered it this year. In all honesty, I was considering just doing general camping and then potentially pay for Camping Plus because at least you're still getting your showers and like flushable toilets and whatever's. But obviously meeting more people there this year, I wouldn't have the worry of being on my own in general. If you know what I mean. So, but there are other options if you want some kind of RIP experience but don't want to pay that amount. You can go for the Camping Plus, and I'm sure in previous years you've been able to pay for guest area access as well, like an upgrade.
There's all sorts of like they do them now. Obviously, they didn't used to do loads of like tack-ons now that you can just get a normal ticket and tack loads of like posh showers, toilets,
DLC.
all that stuff. Yeah, pretty much. But then
pay
again,
for it,
probably
though.
once you've done all that, you've probably paid as much as you would for the RIP ticket. But obviously, if you don't get in time, you don't get one. So
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of, again, from my vlog earlier, I was looking, and you can buy your normal ticket, and then if you know somebody in RIP, you can pay as a guest to join them.
yes,
To join them for a day, it was £50 a day, and then I believe there's a curfew, so you have to be turfed out. But then if you wanted an upgrade for the weekend, it was £225. So obviously you
Yeah.
consider your normal tickets 350. You're paying an extra 225, but then you're
Yeah.
going to be turfed out every night. You might as well have just spent the little bit extra and, stayed there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I wonder how they keep track of who's in and where they are.
Well, when I was talking to the girl on reception, she was saying, because I asked, how will I get because it was my sister and brother-in-law were going to get in. I says, how will we actually get them from the arena? Because if you watch the video, you've got it's not a long walk, but you've got to walk from the arena through the guest area gates, then through all of Metal Meadow, all the TPs, crew huts, before you even get to Sleepy Hollow. So I was questioning, how do I get them from A to B without the wristbands? And she says, I'd have to come with
question.
you and get them.
Huh.
So someone's willing to walk all the way from Sleepy Hollow
Wow.
to come and kind of chaperone those guys to join you. So I'm guessing they've seen your face. I don't know whether they'd come to your tent maybe to see where you are.
It's crazy.
I've got no idea how they'd actually find you afterwards. But
It's
you
all
wouldn't
right
wanna
when they
take the-
know hardly anybody's going to do it. But say you had 100 people every
Mhm.
day paying to go in, then they'd have a problem
Yeah.
trying to find people, I think. But I did actually pick up on that, and I had a problem with that because I first heard about that on their website, or first read about it, and it said it's £50 for the day, and you get the majority of your money back on their official website. It wasn't just a rumor. But then when you said you asked at the actual festival, they said, "Oh yeah, it's £50, but you get no money back,"
Yeah, that's right.
which is
Weird.
ridiculous. Yeah,
And it's just not worth it, is it?
no, no,
At all. I mean, if you were going to be charged £50 and you get £20 back or £30 back, you'd consider going and having a bit of a pamper, have a shower, go and sit in
Yeah.
the bar. If it's raining, stay dry. But you're not paying £50 for a shower and a posh poo at the end of the
No.
day, are you?
No.
So,
no, no, not at all.
which is probably why nobody did it.
Yeah, and I mean, there was certain other things you would get. Like you had, like I said earlier, you get. I think there was a quiz in there. There's some bands on the Wednesday, I believe. An
Yes.
actual bar. There's an actual proper bar in there because it's a
Yeah,
normal campsite during the rest of the year, isn't it?
That's
I
it, yeah.
wasn't expecting to see actual buildings in your vlog when I was watching it. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a lovely pub. Actually used for people use it for a wedding venue.
Yeah,
And got a big courtyard, and yeah, it's all just really nice, and somewhere a bit cleaner to go and relax, or even on the Wednesday night, Thursday night next year, because there won't be any bands on. If you don't want to go and deal with the hustle and bustle in the village, but you're still not ready to go to bed, you've got this nice pub to go and sit in, and they have karaoke and, as you've mentioned, a quiz. So it's it gives people somewhere to go if they don't want to go crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great to have those little things, and like you said, being in a real building, you're like, yes, this place has walls, actual walls.
Yeah. But yeah, and it was a proper pub as well, wasn't it? But I think did I say on your vlog that they basically sold out of like the normal beer or ciders or something within a couple of days?
Yeah, so they have a section where they've got the casks of real ales and ciders, and apparently it's a yearly thing. They'll do it on the first day, and then downloaders are such big drinkers that it sells out within the first day. So
Yeah.
apparently it happens every year, so that they don't seem to be accommodating for it from experience. But that was a nice touch as well, that you got all your different ales from different areas of the country, where it'll say who it's brewed by and this, that, and the other, so you can look for a local one for yourself. So no, I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Something
Awesome.
I wanted to ask: what did you get Did you get a goodie bag?
we did get a goodie bag.
Yeah. What was in it? Because it's different every year. Like every time, if you watch someone who's been to ROP, they get different stuff each time. So I was intrigued to see what you got.
Yeah, so there's normally like one showstopper item, and then the other stuff's the same, like your lanyard with band times. You get a booklet, like a just showing new tours coming throughout the year. T-shirt, obviously. What else was there? You got a pin badge. But then the show-stopping item this year, I was really hoping was going to be a backpack, but it was a garden gnome this year.
Oh yeah,
So,
nice.
I mean, it is awesome. It is really good. He's got pride of place at the top of the decking, but I was hoping for something a bit more, I don't know, productive, if you know what I mean. But
functional, yeah.
Functional, that's it, yeah. But so yeah, everyone got a garden gnome, which I'm sure people were selling online for like 300 quid or something.
Oh,
afterwards,
100%.
Yeah.
They definitely were. There was a lot of that after, actually. People like marking stuff up really badly and putting it online for some sucker to buy. It's a bit dread.
Yeah, I think the hoodie with the black and red hoodie with like a tie dye was
nice hoodie.
going for a lot. And I did notice actually when we were there was a few people, like a group of 3 people all wearing them in front of us, and the pattern was different on all of them. So yeah, it must have been a proper tie dye or something. I don't really know.
Yeah,
fabric.
they looked cool. I thought that I thought this is one of the best years of merch. I thought for a few years I go and I'm like, t-shirts aren't really that great, but I actually thought the merch was really, really nice this year. I didn't buy any of it because I had no money, but it looked really nice.
Yeah.
What's the RIP t-shirt like? Is it decent?
I wish I had it to hand, but it's okay. Obviously, there's just the print on the front. I'd prefer if there was a smaller print on the front and then larger on the back, which they have done in previous years. But it was just a large print RIP with the dog on the front, and that was it really. But it would be nice to see if they could do some kind of design. Well, something I suggested was maybe give RIP an option. They can either have an RIP t-shirt or you can have a token to go and get a lineup t-shirt as part of your ticket.
Yeah,
that's what I'd prefer to see personally.
That's a good idea.
Because the RIP t-shirt itself, it's not something I'd wear outside of the house. It's just a chill t-shirt, really.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice if they did that, but that's obviously them throwing money down the pan, isn't it? So
yeah, true.
that won't happen.
Yeah.
No.
But no, on merch, I'd say the quality was better this year than previous years anyway. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't buy any merch this year either. I haven't bought a t-shirt for a long time.
I'm the only one who came prepared.
Just going to say, I did notice you wearing the one sort of paying homage to the very early ones with the download actually pink.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I like they incorporated that for the 20 years. The original download dog, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And there was another one that was similar to the I got fucked at download one from 2004. There was another one that said I got fucked at download, but obviously a little bit of a different style.
Nice.
But
so that's good.
So back to RIP. Was it as busy as you were expecting?
I think knowing it was a sellout, I knew there wouldn't be any spare pitches, but it was never busy in the slightest.
Yeah.
Like never had to queue for toilets, shower, at the bar in guest area. You were always able to walk straight up to the bar. You were never behind people. So I think RIP's probably got it sussed in terms of how many facilities they've got on the go to accommodate the amount of people they've sold tickets for, which they may not do in the arena as such. But no, I never felt as though it was busy.
I remember as well, every time we saw you, we were like, you look so clean.
Yeah.
Like every time we saw him in it, it's like, he smells good. He looks really clean. It's like, we can tell you've been in RIP. Like the rest of us look like absolute shite. You kept on bussing out, like looking like you've just like literally just had a shower.
For the day.
Yeah, like you've just come for the day. I was like, bastard.
Yeah, I mean, you showed in your vlog that there was never any queues for the toilets or the showers. But I was thinking, obviously, for anybody who's never actually been, you can't tell how big the space is from the map, and you can't really tell how many people they can fit in that space. That was why I sort of wondered if it felt busy, because it looks massive now. The amount of space they've got for RIP, but they obviously need more space because people can park next to their tents as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the amount of the already set up teepees or whatever. Is it ready to rock as well?
Yeah.
I think you showed almost all of the different areas in your vlog, and there was just
Tried to,
loads.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is vast, the area, and the amount of like teepees and crew huts and all the other options that they have. They obviously try and squeeze as many as they can into that area.
Yeah.
So to look from the outside, it obviously looks very busy, but in Sleepy Hollow, you had plenty of space, and it was nice because the way it was done, you were never next to someone's tent, if you see what I mean, because it's tent, car, tent, car.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? You're never truly next to someone. So if someone's talking in the tent, it's got a bit of distance to travel, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, I sleep with earplugs in anyway because being a light sleeper, but it was probably some of the best sleep I've ever had downloaded, that's for sure.
I bet.
Yeah.
Did you miss carrying your stuff for 40 minutes from the car to the tent?
I think the last year that I did download it was the worst one I've ever experienced. I mean, I told the story last time I was here about buying a bag and every possible strap.
Oh yeah.
So I've been hurt in the past. I wasn't ready to be hurt again. So, I was going to do a little snip on the vlog saying, "Oh, now I've got to do the walk from the car to the tent," and be like, "Okay, I'm here now." I didn't get around to that
Just to
year.
rub it in.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's just one of those things I've never experienced at download. Like just drive in and just be like, oh, I guess I just probably set up the tent.
Yeah.
Like amazing. Because normally by the time you've done that, you're like, you're covered in sweat. You've been carrying everything. You know you got to go back to the car to get more stuff. Then you've got to set up your like tent. Then when you do that, you sit down, you're knackered, you have a beer. Then you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to go back to the car again. Like it's a whole thing that takes up pretty much 2 or 3 hours of your first day when you get there. So like eliminating that must be awesome.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be like twiddling my thumbs on the first day of download, but after getting there, setting up the tent, doing the walk to the village, and then coming back, I was like, what do I do now? So I ended up sat there sewing patches onto the back of my jacket, looking like some saddo. So you need to have some kind of plan as to what you're going to do because, you know, you're so used to spending hours setting up and multiple trips. You are kind of at a loose end unless you've got plans, obviously.
Yeah. I think I'd like that. Just get there and be like, oh, nothing to do. I think I might just sit here for a little while. Like, just have a couple of beers. That sounds great.
Yeah, I think I would like that too, but my bank balance wouldn't, my bank account.
No.
Crazy how expensive it is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like we said before, we were going to do it. We were planning to do it. But yeah, with the dynamic pricing, it's just ridiculous now. Although I also have said, like, if 750 was the standard price, it probably still would feel worth it. It's because that price has come from nowhere. It's like you're paying that extra. It gives the what's the right word? I can't think of the right word, but I'm sure you all know what I mean. You're paying extra money.
Thing is,
for nothing.
it'll always sell out now. RRP.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to miss out, and as long as people pay that amount, they'll continue to charge that amount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
And then obviously with the payment plans available now in Klarna, that's probably why we're seeing it sell out so much.
Yeah.
Because I can't comment on previous years having not done it, but I'm not sure if RRP did sell out every year. If you were able to get tickets, I don't know, 3 weeks before download itself. But now that you've got those different plans, I'm sure it'll sell out most years now.
Oh, I would have thought so. Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, it feels like we're only just getting started, but I have to do something that I don't like doing, and you won't hear me doing very often on the podcast. But I have to hurry this on a little bit because we've got other guests coming on. It feels horrible to have to stop here because we could probably talk for another hour or more. But we're going to have to start winding it up here. So, Stu, thank you for coming on again. I really appreciate it. What do you have, like, a favourite sort of highlight from the festival or favourite band?
I'd say the highlight was probably it was the Sunday. I wasn't expecting the Sunday to be the best day. Sunday is normally your wind down day, but this year it was absolutely stacked, start to finish for me. So I think it was Parkway Drive, crowd surfing at the end of Parkway Drive, straight to the front, running off side stage, straight to Electric Callboy, and crowds were surrounding the tent. I've never seen the tent so busy. And then actually getting to the front for Electric Callboy as well, which was mental. I'd say that was probably the highlight of those two bands back to back.
Nice. Yeah,
For
you have
sure.
got a little bit in
Nice.
your vlog
Mhm.
from Electric Callboy, haven't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to give any shout outs or anything like that to anybody?
So
Or plug any
obviously-
little obviously plug your YouTube. Sorry.
No, that's good. So obviously, appreciate everyone in the Discord. It's great to have a little community everyone can talk to. Again, you might have people that live local to you that like the same kind of music and whatever. So come and join us on the Discord. Come and have a chat. Like Adam said, you get to know people, and when you meet them at Download, it's like you've known them for years. So come along and join us there, and then obviously over on YouTube. Appreciate all the positivity coming my way. I'll keep trying to do what I do and try and keep it entertaining anyway. You'll see me at Bloodstock along with Simon. Ben will be there as well. So
Triple
look
vlog.
forward to that.
Triple
vlog.
vlog.
Triple vlog, man.
forward
Everyone's going to
to-
be sick because everyone's going to be in everyone else's videos. So people are going to be literally sick of us after these 3 vlogs come out.
Vlogception at Bloodstock. 100%.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure if I said it in this or whether it was before, but yeah, from your vlog, we have, well, I have personally seen, I'd probably say at least 10 people saying they bought an RIP ticket from the back of your vlog, from watching it and seeing how awesome it looked. I started watching it and I was just in awe. I was amazed. It just looked amazing. Like, oh, look, like these are the t-shirts, the toilets were free all the time. The showers are free all the time. It just looked amazing. And I think you did a really, really good job of doing it anyway. You know,
Good
it's
advert
easy
for it, definitely.
Yeah, it's easy to
Thank
do
you,
something
thank
like
you.
that badly, but when you do it well, people don't notice as much. If that makes sense. People
I
notice when
don't
something's bad.
work for Live Nation. Just putting it out there, but if they want
Not
to send me
yet.
some free tickets,
Not yet. He
if they want
doesn't.
to reimburse my ticket for next year,
He's going to hand in
that'd
his
be awesome.
He's going to hand in his resignation. He's like, guys, I'm so sorry. I've got to leave the team because I've been picked up by Live Nation. So I'll see you later.
That's it. I'll become the official Download podcast.
Can we be guests? Do you want anybody
Yeah,
to
we'll
run
be
your
guests.
Discord?
Swap roles.
You can moderate.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna have to call it there, I'm afraid. But Stu, we definitely will have you back. Hopefully not talking about RIP next time. Out just having a good old chat about all kind of music stuff. Anything that's going on at the time. We don't know yet, but we will definitely have you back on. Thank you for coming on.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for having me again.
Okay, and now we are joined by Matt and Andrew from Antisaint once again. We had them on just before Download. We spoke to them. You know what? My mind's gone blank now. I don't even remember what we talked about now because we're recording, we're in the moment, and now my mind is just gone. But yeah, hello you guys. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing
Good. Yeah, very good. So it's been just over a month since Download. It feels two things. It feels like a long time ago, but it also feels like it was only a few days ago. You know, it's weird how that works sometimes. But how have you been since Download and since you left the UK?
well, finally feeling a lot better because we definitely brought back the download along with us for Dust Load. I like the Dust Load name. a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, been good though.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've seen you've had some shows over there. You've also we touched on it a little bit before recording. I thought it was Ivan Moody was opening a restaurant and you played it, but you've said he was actually opening a gas station and you sort of played the opening kind of ceremony. Is that what they called it? I don't know. What do you call it?
Yeah, it was the ribbon cutting. To the
Ribbon
thing.
cutting.
So
Yeah.
they had like the big scissors and
Yeah.
the ribbon and all that. It was cool. He gave a speech and real nice guy. I talked to him a couple times that day.
Yeah.
And he just wanted it to be like a community event because he moved up like 2 years ago. And he didn't want to be seen as this guy who's coming into town and just buying up all the things and then not
Okay.
caring.
Yeah.
So it was more of a just a community block party celebration thing. Plus, they're about to play Cheyenne Frontier Days, which is a massive rodeo that happens here in the city of Cheyenne. And so it was just, just a big celebration like that.
Nice,
yeah, awesome.
nice.
Oh, well, actually, you just made me think how very rude of me. Just in case anybody didn't already know or didn't listen to the episode before, you guys opened up the Dogtooth stage on the Saturday. You played at 12:30. We didn't actually know what time you were playing, and you couldn't tell us. You knew what time, but you couldn't tell us when we spoke to you last time.
Yeah, it's such a secret last time.
Yeah, and but yeah, you're from Wyoming. I found out. Yeah, since Cheyenne is the capital city.
Yep.
Yeah, the capital city of Wyoming.
Like one of the
Excellent.
smallest,
Good.
It's like one of the smallest capitals in the U.S.
Okay. But yeah, so Antisaint, you actually came over here from America. I think you said you were here for about 10 days with your own money. You paid for it with your own money to come over just to play Download, and then go again. I mean, you obviously did a few other things while you were here, but such a cool story. Anyway, in general, I think that was so cool. But how was Download for you? How was it?
It was special, man. Like I couldn't believe it. I looked up after I think the second or third song, and the tent was packed and overspill outside. Like I think we were told like an additional 3,000 people or so were around the tent. So it was like a total of 9,000 people, and that just blew my mind. For like 12:30, day 3 of the festival, people are hungover. Their bodies are starting to ache from Bring Me the Horizon the previous night and Metallica. So like I was just blown away. Could not be a better well, it could be a better experience sound wise. We'll get to that later. But,
okay.
I told you guys that though. I said as soon as you lot start playing, people will just hear sounds and they will just gravitate towards it. Like that just happens with those stages at Download. So I'm glad that you had, because literally I looked back and I was like, me and Adam looked at each other and we went, there's a lot of people here, dude. Like it's so early, but there are so many people. We were so happy that and did you guys see the cluster of pink Antisaint t-shirts?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That was the best thing too. I was like, man, I'm so glad we went with that bread obnoxious pink, because you just see clusters of them, and there's like 2 people over on that side that have it, and it's so easy to spot.
Yeah.
But it was great seeing y'all up front. Should have come to my side though. Not on
I think we were that side because that was closer to the bar. To be fair, for me anyway, I was.
So the other side had like the merch line. You don't want to deal with that,
We already had our t-shirts.
Yeah.
I was quite drunk, as we've discussed on the podcast, for your set.
Yeah.
Dude,
but it was amazing.
We have that photo, that our drummer's sister Kirsten took that big photo of us in front of the crowd at the end of the set, and your face, Adam, in the photo is the best. I can tell you're just shit-faced. You're having the best time. You're having the best time in that photo.
I was. I couldn't believe it. After, I mean, we really enjoyed what you did, so we spoke about how much we enjoyed it, and then you guys said, "Well, we'll come on the show," because we said we wanted you to come on the show if you reached out, and then you came on, and then we came to see you at Download. It was just the whole line of events. It was just amazing. So I wanted to be pretty buzzing for it, and I was a bit too buzzing, I think.
I've never seen you with that much energy ever. Like literally, you were like buzzing.
Awesome. So you had obviously playing first thing on the Saturday morning. It wasn't the longest set. I think you played about 7 songs. Is that right?
6 songs, because we had a 25 minutes, and we played a click track and all that. So we literally had it mapped out to, I think our set when we started was 24 minutes and 40 seconds. So we had like no room for error at all.
None.
That's why we start to play up while Matthew's talking. Like, oh no, shut up. He's talking now. We got to go. Otherwise we're going to get muted.
But I think we both also said that we really enjoyed the song ID. But I was surprised to hear you played your newest song, Paradise, last, wasn't it?
If I mean, that was the plan.
That was cool.
Yeah, we wanted to end it with Paradise, just because it's it's a new song, but also it kind of has that earworm that people get stuck. So you want them singing that song right after the set, let it just marinate in their mind for a bit. And,
Nice.
that's the general feedback that we got, was that, you know, they were singing that song in the middle of the day. So I mean, I love that. You know, it means it's working.
Yeah, definitely. It was really good. From what I remember, a little bit.
I was stone sober, so I remember it all. Don't worry, I remember it for you, dude. Like,
awesome, thank you. I do want to touch on the festival as a whole as well, and how it sort of compares to American festivals, what you were used to, what you were expecting. But let's hear a little bit more about your time over here, because you've already told me you really enjoyed Scrumpy Jack, which was cool.
Hell
I think,
yeah, dude.
being from Somerset, which is the southwest, and we have that kind of cider here a lot. But yeah, it's just so interesting to hear as well your experiences from the UK in general as well. So anything you want to touch upon from your stay, or from your, I don't know what to call it, your trip over here in general?
Yeah.
Well, we were in an Airbnb in Castle Donington for that time, which was really nice. Like, you know, Andreas and I, every morning we would go walk to like the post office or the co-op, get some Scrumpy Jacks for the day. Just to have it. And like, I don't know, man, it was just such a cool area. It was very different from anywhere that I've experienced in America. So we spent a lot of time just walking around, kind of taking it all in, going to pubs, going to this place called the Nag's Head up there, which fucking great. Like,
Yeah.
Although we made the mistake,
I
didn't know about Sunday roast as a thing, and so we went on Sunday before we went to the arena, and all they had was Sunday roast. So we're like, okay, let's do it. And just had this massive, like, you know, to me it compared to like a Thanksgiving feast kind of thing here.
yeah.
And we all ate it, and we were fucking miserable the whole day. We're like, why did we do that? We had to go watch Slipknot, and we're all just like food combing out.
Oh man, I was nice and relaxed during Slipknot, because I was in the guest area in the Universal tent, just like on this little sofa thing, just like, you know, just chilling. Somebody walked by, like, well, that's one way to watch Slipknot. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Having a
I mean,
Sunday roast.
I've done the whole, you know, I've done the whole Slipknot thing before, where I'm like in the pit and whatnot. It's fun. I did it at Red Rocks, but yeah, that was a different.
I'm surprised
experience.
you guys
Yeah.
could even move after a Sunday roast. Like, I have to lie down after one because, like, I can't physically do anything.
Dude, it was miserable. It was miserable. Like, we got there. I think we got into the guest area. We were just hanging out in the tent, and I think Andreas just fell asleep for like an hour. I was like sort of conscious. I was like, I'm gonna walk around a little bit at least and try and do something. But, man, it was
great.
Sunday was a little slow for us.
Nice. I haven't had a Sunday roast for ages. I kind of want one now. But yeah, I think there's a fine line with a Sunday roast. You either eat too much and you bloat it for the rest of the day, or if you have just underneath that line, because it's all vegetables, it seems to digest it really quickly, and you're hungry after another 2 hours.
It was mostly meat on my plate.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's get to the festival then. So generally, you said that you were looking forward to coming over because it was the legendary Castle Donington. Was there anything that you were sort of expecting that was different, or something that you wasn't expecting that was that surprised you a little bit?
There wasn't really anything that, like, no, let me say this. I went in with zero expectations because I had never been to an outdoor festival like this before. In the States, we had been to like the traveling festivals that kind of just take up one day.
Okay.
So I'd never experienced the multi-day outdoor thing. So I went in with zero expectations. And I was pleasantly surprised with how easy it was to move around with so many people there, like getting stage to stage. I didn't really ever feel like I had to fight through a crowd to get anywhere or back to the guest area. I think the guest area was a blessing. And Simon, you've definitely missed out on it.
Yeah, I know, dude.
All the best food trucks were in the guest area. So like we would go there to like kind of get away from people or get away from the mass of people, because there's still a bunch of people back there. But no, it was good though. It was really good. The actual show day for us went a little differently than I had expected, just in terms of like some communication. But other than that, it kind of went exactly how I thought it would in a way.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. No, I want to kind of hear how it would compare. Well, you said you've not been to an American one. I wanted to know how it would compare to an American one, but without knowing what they're like, I don't know the questions specifically to ask. That's why
Yeah.
that was maybe a little bit too broad of a question.
Well, I mean, like there are a couple like weekend festivals like Rocklahoma and what's the one in Florida that just happened, Andrew?
Oh, there's like Louder Than Life and
Yeah.
Aftershock,
But,
things like that.
yeah, but they never take place where like it's close or convenient for us.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
because man, the U.S.
always
is
on the coast.
massive. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, so like, but we played with bands who have played those kind of things, and it doesn't get to the 100,000 person range. I think
Okay.
like max it'll go like 60,000 ish, which is
Yeah.
about like a football stadium. So I mean, it's still a hell of an event, but nothing compared to the European stuff.
Yeah.
Did you guys
like
because every year what we do is when you stand and there's a headline at the front and you look backwards and all you can see is people, and even being to the festival 14 times, every time that blows my mind because I'm like, I can't see the end of people. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty nuts because we dropped off our merch a couple days before the festival began, and when we did that, it was just an empty field, and they were setting up Metallica's towers and all that stuff. So it's hard to imagine what that looks like with 100,000 people. So then when I entered the arena on Thursday afternoon, I was like, "Holy shit, man, this is incredible!" So yeah, it was. It's definitely the largest crowd I've been in. Like night one, we watched Metallica in the sea of people. Like we were just to the right.
We were just behind you, Simon.
Yeah, I think
your video. You were next to that Ukrainian flag that was up, and we were right behind you.
Ah, okay.
So we were about the same spot as you, and
nice. That was a good space actually.
Because we would look back and sea of people, and there's no end.
Yeah, still a sea of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool. I've done it now. I don't want to do it again. Like from a performance, perspective. Like if I have to play the festival, I'm gonna do it different this time because man, I had just gotten over like all that crap in my lungs like a week and a half ago.
Yeah,
just right before Ivan's block party. But I mean, honestly, like you guys weren't lying when Download is such a legendary event. Like when I talked to Ivan first, introduced myself to him, the first thing he goes was Download fucking nuts or what? So like everybody, so like all the guys who play Download, all the bands, they have that one circled for sure because they know like it's just it's not, there's nothing equivalent in America.
Yeah, I think a lot of bands, especially American bands, obviously, because it's come from such a historical place. Like you said, it must be one of the ones on there. Like Corey Taylor from Slipknot always says, like, we play festivals over the world, but nothing compares to Download. Like, it's Download. So a lot of people probably feel like that as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like the grounds felt different. Even from when we were dropping off the merch the couple days before. Like, I don't know, it seemed like some cool shit was about to happen there, and it did. And, I was not disappointed at all.
Good.
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit surprising to hear for some people because we always see all the amazing tours that America has, which we don't get hardly any of. So
Right.
maybe you would just sort of assume that you guys have much bigger and better festivals as well.
I think it's different though because like a lot of big bands are from America and domestic here. They go out and they do like all the hockey arenas and all the football stadiums and whatnot, and they're just constantly here. Like every week somebody else is here. Like so, like when you have like over in the UK when there's only so many cities and whatnot, I could see why festivals make more sense than doing all the
true. That's
the
true.
way it's out here. But it's funny because Bring Me the Horizon right now, they're opening up for Fall Out Boy, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
In the US, and their stage is so small compared to what it was at download. Like
Huh.
it blew my mind on how they go from this massive, headlining the main stage,
Yeah.
just monstrosity. I mean, I didn't get to see it in person because I was at the Airbnb, but I saw a ton of photos and videos of it. It looked incredible. To like they have this
It was.
like, scaled down like little
Yeah.
amphitheater
Yeah,
setup. It's funny.
Yeah, they're literally on like one small riser that's got the drummer on stage left and the auxiliary keyboard and drums over on that stage right. Their cymbal hanging up, and that's it. Like
That's
nothing.
crazy.
It's fucking crazy.
That must be weird for them. Like they just
Yeah.
play
Right.
download and they got all this pyro and like crazy
Yeah.
shit, and then they go and they're like, "Oh, okay, gonna be really close
But I
to
mean,
each
like
other."
that's kind of how it is for those European bands when they come over here. Like In Flames was the same way. Like In Flames is massive over in Europe. They've headlined like Wacken and Hellfest, and
Yeah.
I'd imagine they have done some.
Well, they're
Top-tier
they're
slots for
they're
download.
headlining for Killswitch at Bloodstock this year as well. So
Yeah. So they come over to America and they're on like the side stage of the festival. Like when I saw
Like
them the first
middle of
time,
the day.
yeah.
yeah, middle of the day. When I saw them the first time, it was at Mayhem Fest, which was Rockstar Energy's festival. Which it was like it might have been a 2-day thing at some point, but it just went from city to city. And they were like 2:00 in the afternoon on the second like side stage. I was like, what the hell?
It's weird though, isn't it? How they can be so huge in one place. It's like
Yeah.
that for American bands. I've seen like you get bands like 3 Days Grace that play absolutely giant places over there, and they come over here and they play the tiniest little show in
Right.
Bristol in a city that hasn't even got like a huge population. So that must be weird for them as well, coming over and being like, oh, I guess this tiny little place is
See,
what
that-
we're playing.
That might be fun
Yeah.
though, because over here I know they have a tour with Chevelle coming up, and they're playing at this place called the Fillmore in Denver, which is like 3,500 cap venue, but it's still massive and proper, and there's like a big barricade before the crowd and stuff, and like I would imagine if they have to play like the intimate shows, that might feel a little more punk rock and fun like that. 'cause
Yeah, true.
they're used to the hockey arenas and the big venues and stuff. But
Yeah, that's true.
get back
Yeah.
to the roots a little bit.
Yeah.
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 But
It's
yeah,
great for us because we get to see all these amazing bands at these tiny little venues, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
We've spoken about it the opposite way as well, though, with Bush, because they are English. They're
Yeah.
massive in America, but they're not very big over here at all.
Nope.
Which is strange.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said,
That's
it's
very strange.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
I don't
because
know why
over
it
here, no
happens,
one
but-
wanted to play them on the radio. Because I listened to an interview with Gavin Rossdale, and he was like, the American stations were like, yeah, this is great, we'll play it. So a British band ended up being bigger in the States than actually in their own country, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Well, right now we're bigger in England than we are. at home, so.
There you go.
I mean, hey, we're moving in the right direction, but yes, the UK really boosted what we're capable of doing now, just because of download. Like,
Yeah.
it's that big thing on the resume that adds legitimacy to our claims. So
Definitely.
I guess
definitely.
anywhere you start, I'll take it. Anywhere I can get it.
Mm.
There must be a lot to that kind of thing at the moment, because I've noticed with things like Spotify, if I look for you, and it will say other bands that people listen to are all the bands that played at Download, so that sort of you're grouped in with those as well because you're in a lot of different playlists and everything. And I wonder, I don't know if you might be at that stage where or bigger bands sort of have someone in charge of that, trying to keep that exactly how the band want to be, how the image that they want to portray. I guess it probably.
Yeah, I
thinking of-
think that's more of the algorithm, just like the
Yeah.
same people listening to the download playlists that we've been added to and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like that's how that, because at least like as far as I know, the tools that are available to us on Spotify, we don't have any control of like putting suggested bands that we're
Nah.
a fit with or anything.
Because you just suggest everyone huge, like
Yeah.
all of like
Yeah, right.
massive
Yeah.
bands. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. But I mean, what's cool is, okay, so the event that we just did in Cheyenne, there was a couple thousand people, I think. and they were all Five Finger Death Punch fans because it's Ivan Moody. So
Right.
we had the opportunity to play in front of Five Finger Death Punch fans, and they loved it. You know, they loved Antisaint. Like, I talked to many fans. They were like, "Look, we've heard your name thrown around town before, just because radio station and, you know, big announcements like Download, things like that, the Drowning Pool tour." But they didn't realize how similar we were in that genre and stuff. So it was cool. So I do feel like if we were to get in the same fan base of those bands like Five Finger, Slipknot, all those guys, that we would do very well.
Yeah. You need to leech onto that. That's what bands do. That's why bands take other bands on tour, because basically what you're doing is stealing their fans, which is what you actually need to do. Is you need to literally steal their fans.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
you're
not
doing.
I'm not trying to tell people, hey, ditch these guys for us. But you know, it's about connecting with people. Like, people use metal music to get through tough times and things like that. So I think that's where we're orienting ourselves towards, because this album that we're working on, you know, Paradise is just one small piece of it, but it's more oriented towards those tougher times that we had, like during the pandemic and things like that, and just talking to people on this past event, that's what they related to the most with, like, Five Fingers lyrical content and things like that. So I think that's the direction that's worth pursuing.
Yeah, awesome.
I never knew how big a deal it is to play with other people. Maybe not to necessarily steal their fans, but to be noticed by a lot of other people, or by other people's fans. Before we started doing this podcast, Simon's taught me so much about also about sort of playing the game, as it were, sort of on social media and everything. So much that I didn't know, and it's crazy. Like, you do have to try and get on tours with big people as much as you can. Like, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just did not know how big a thing it was.
It's a common, like, problem where people don't realize, like, if a band is good or not. Like, to their eyes, they had to have done something like what we did, like Download, or be on a support slot on a big name like Five Finger Death Punch or something like that. You know, like, a lot of people don't take the time to check out an unknown band. It's unfortunate, but it just is how it is. So, like, the fans that we are getting now, they are, like, the true fans, like, in my eyes, that I will always, like, remember and always be grateful for them, because they're there before, like, the mass amount of people, you know. So it's just one of those things that you just constantly have to grind for.
Yeah, but you say play the game as well, because we always talk about how important social, like, over here in England, some of the best bands don't get a look in, but some of the bands that, you know, personally are not great are so much bigger because their marketing, their social media, and everything is so much better. So they get more recognition. So it's like, you know, you've got to be a brand and a band, because you've got to sell yourself. It's so weird, like, how that's all changed from, like, if you were a band, if this was the 90s, well, one, we wouldn't be having this conversation, but two, you'd be doing things really differently to the way that we do it now. So it's just, that sort of stuff's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, bands are merch companies with music at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we really
Which
are.
is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a good point. Yeah. While we're on this, have you done many other sort of interviews? I know I've seen on your social media you've done maybe a radio interview, and obviously you've done that thing with Ivan Moody. Any other things you've done sort of to try and push yourself since Download? Tell us about how that goes and what you've done.
Yeah, it's been great. We just did a interview yesterday with the guys at Full Pelt, UK-based publication there. They saw the set as well and did a review, and they, like, highlight new music. So we submitted Paradise to them and got behind. I think it was Paul, right, Andrew? We had a conversation with Paul. Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, that, we've been, like, the city of Cheyenne, there's been a bunch of little publications that have been getting behind us, like one called Y Original. So we talked about, like, all things just kind of how the band came about, and just like the grind of like, look, it took us 10 years to get to these opportunities. So like, it takes time to build these things up. And yeah, I think there's a couple more things on the horizon, but people are definitely excited that something like this happened, where an unknown, unsigned band got an opportunity like that. And like the festival took notice of it. They were actually surprised on how many people were in the tent at that time. So it's very good, good stuff to write on there.
Have you spoken to them to the download team very much since the festival, or since your set at least, or was it just the people on the sort of stage where you were that were saying that? Have you have much? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, no, we heard these things through basically our drummer's dad has friends that are involved in the planning of download. So he's been the one that's been passing us the info, like, so and so said this is awesome. They haven't seen this kind of crowd in a while, this early for first band of the day on the fourth stage. So
nice.
Yeah, we're definitely on their radar, and hopefully we get invited back next year, if not the year after.
Awesome.
I don't know how they feel about having bands go year after year, but
some bands play.
I want to get back as soon as I can.
Yeah, some bands literally play 1 year, then they play the next year. So, especially on the smaller stages, some bands do come back like repeatedly. So,
it all depends on what we do this next calendar year. Like from now on to June, like we could have some huge opportunities. We could become really relevant and get a higher slot, or so there's no telling what might happen between now and the next download. So that's exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time.
Yeah. And I did actually see you. I think it was an interview. I definitely saw you getting your photo taken back in the sort of press area. I don't know if you noticed, me and Stu were just sat there drinking. Did you have any interviews?
I saw the pink shirt. Yeah, no, that was cool. Like they had a couple magazines out there. We did some quick interviews, and then there was a sit down, like I think it was like 20 minutes or so, where we were talking to iHeartRadio guy out there. So yeah, I mean, people are watching us. They're sitting back, seeing what we do next, and I think we're kind of at that point of where a couple more big things that we do, these people are going to get behind us and start spreading the word of Antisaint, because nobody wants to like you kind of have to do all the work for them right now. Like that's just kind of how it is. So
yeah.
They want the winning horse every time,
Yeah, they go, I know what I can do. I can take credit for all the hard work that these guys have been doing.
Right.
Awesome. But do you have any highlights from the festival then? What were your favorite parts of download? Could be the bands, could be anything. I probably should have prompted you with this one before coming on, because that's a hard
this is good
question.
This is good. I think, Matt, overall, Ginger and Ghost were my two favorites. And I agree with you that Ghost should have been on the main stage as a headliner potentially, if not the direct support on the main stage. Because
definitely.
I knew what it was going to be. I follow Ghost a lot. I look up their videos. I know what it is, and it's incredible. Like Tobias had a great day. Vocally sounded excellent. The band was killer. They could have just used that massive PA that the main stage has, because I was like, man, this should be a little bit louder and more punching me in the gut. But Ginger was incredible. That was the first time I'd seen them live, and we were fairly close up. We were probably about the same spot when we saw Metallica that first night, and man, that was probably like the tightest set I've ever heard from a band. Like just
nice,
fucking great the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I heard them like on the hill on the merch line. I just decided to get in the 4-hour merch line to get all the swag. But from what I could hear, like they sound incredible, and I was able to catch them live a couple weeks ago when they were in Denver opening up for Disturbed, And yeah, Ginger can throw down. That her vocals are just incredible. It's really great to see that kind of dedication into the craft and be able to be showcased on the main stage like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I met up with you in the guest area just before Ginger came on. I was talking to you two only for like a couple of minutes, and then you were like, "Oh, Ginger playing. See you later." So it wasn't quite as blunt as that, but yeah, we got to go. Now that makes sense.
Wow,
that
Andrew. Wow.
you're looking forward to it
no,
that much.
Yeah, we were not that abrupt.
No, it wasn't as blunt as that. But yeah, no, it was cool to even see you. I think I was on the phone or looking for you for ages before that anyway. So it could have been quicker if I'd actually got my ass in gear. I think I was quite drunk when I saw you. So yeah, possibly my fault. But yeah, that was cool. I don't know what else.
Tell you, man, because I've been itching to just get into it, so we might as well get into it. We got to talk about Metallica.
Okay.
Because I have thoughts.
Oh, okay. I like this.
I'm gonna preface this with I am one of the I fucking love Metallica. They are one of my favorite bands of all time. I will die on that hill. Fuck yes, Metallica. And I'd seen them twice before this, and the 2 times before they were sloppier than they were at Download. But Download, they sounded terrible, like mix wise. And I was very surprised and disappointed about that. And I don't know what was going on with it. Because I told you guys in the last episode, I'm an audio engineer. I do front of house for Drowning Pool. And I get maybe missing what Mike James is at to turn it on, because you don't want to have all those mics on live. So whatever, that's fine. But dude, okay, when you were talking about seeing it in person versus the video that they put up, I'm going to defend Lars and his double kicking just because two things on this. One, at the beginning of the song, they had those 2 other drum kits that were on the snake pit.
Yeah.
And halfway through the intro, his drum kit was still muted. It just something came on. And when I was at that second night, I had thought maybe he just fucking forgot to come in or something, or was taking a piss and, forgot the video came and, oh shit, coming in late. Sorry, guys, Lars Ulrich. But then I saw some fan footage, and he was there and he was playing it. He's doing the intro, and there's nothing for a while. And I was like, what the hell? So I don't understand how you have a whole drum kit that's muted for half a song or for half an intro of a song. And then to the point of the weird double kick during, basically before we get into the end of one, I got a couple thoughts of what it could have been. Either there was something up with the mic or the trigger for it, or they had to ride the gates up that much more because the kit was in front of the PA.
And it was taken out.
Either way, because I mean, listen, I heard it live, man. We all at the end of the song, we were like, man, what the hell was that?
Fuck was that? Yeah.
That was bad.
It was weird. It was super fucking weird. The whole just the drum kit being muted threw me off. But I have to think it was still that, because it's not that hard of a part, man. It's really not. You can just flail your legs a little bit and you get pretty close to it. And the live footage that people put up, not the Metallica one that was mixed, there were some weird kick patterns. I was like, Lars isn't that good to play that wrong.
Yeah.
And I bought the 2-night CD thing, and I got it in just a couple days ago, and I listened to all of it, and I've done that with the other shows too that I've been to, and man, there's parts in both Download sets, it's sloppy as hell, and there's mistakes, and there's guitars completely out of tune. So if they didn't care about those things, I don't think that they would have. Maybe some minor adjustment on the kicks, but he definitely got those sextuplets in. I'm gonna die on that fucking hill too.
Yeah, there was stuff off, like we said before, we couldn't barely hear Kurt's guitar solos that first night. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Or what I think they'd done is they'd mixed him into the left-hand speakers and not the right-hand speakers. Because when I was standing on the right-hand side of the stage the last night, I could hear his solos perfectly. So, yeah, someone was having a bad fucking time on the mixing desk for Metallica.
Yeah. That was so weird.
They've been using the same engineer for fucking ever. And he's great. I just don't know was up with this one, man. And like, even the Kirk solos, like the first night, it was definitely way worse the first night in terms of not being able to hear him. But there would also be times where I was like, it's loud as fucking day right now. So there's a weird inconsistency, and and they're on Axe effects. They're not, so it's not like you have, that somebody fucking accidentally kicked the mic off the cab or whatever. They're getting direct.
Yeah, it's direct. Yeah.
Out. So I don't know, bro.
Confusing mixing engineers with like this shit.
Less on the band for that, more on
Yeah.
Andrew could go on the entire episode on this whole thing. Like,
fucking good.
Yeah, I thought some of the performances, I think some were really good. Obviously, the sound overall wasn't great, but some are really good. And then for some songs, they were like Master of Puppets was the sloppiest I've ever heard them play Master of Puppets. Like, it was rubbish. Like, it sounded like a covers band trying to play Metallica Master of Puppets. Like, but then sometimes for some tracks, like Fuel was great. Some of them were really super tight, and other ones were like so all over the place. It was very weird.
Yeah, I that's kind of Metallica, though.
Yeah,
that's that's part of the fun of going to it.
It just blows my mind, though, man, because they have thousands of shows under their belt, and yet they're still like this.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Hey, man, they're Metallica. They do what they do, and everybody shows up just like we did, and we have a great fucking time.
Yeah, true.
Poke fun of them a little bit. We're still going to go see them the next time they roll through.
I had a great time that first night. That was incredible. I loved it.
It was great. I think Bring Me the Horizon, though, they won the weekend for the headliners. Like, I watched about half their set. Matthew stayed back at the Airbnb just to, take a rest day before the performance on Saturday. Andreas and I left a little early just to get back so that we weren't up till 2 a.m. again partying and feeling it the next day. But man, like, Bring Me sounded excellent. The crowd interaction was great. Their production, I thought, was the best of all three headliners. Just that fucking 360 pyro thing around the mouth of the stage was incredible.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
And just the changing set, it started like kind of looking like a cathedral or, something out of Iron Maiden. And then, 4 songs in or whatever. It's all video screens and it's got this cool like 3D effect. They took advantage of that headline spot.
Yeah, I think now after that they will be back to headline that festival like no problem. It was such a great first headliner prover performance. Like, holy shit! And like you said, like just the production of the visuals and the sound was just perfection. Like, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not surprised though that they were the ones to do that because like Metallica, that was their 10th download headlining.
Yeah.
Slipknot, it was like their 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
And so like for Bring Me, those guys were probably the most excited out of all.
Oh yeah.
Of the 3 of them to be doing that headline slot because one, they hadn't been in that slot before, and so you get let's go crazy with production and all that. Like that would be me, man. Like if you gave me $1 million budget,
it'd be like a fucking Rammstein show. Fucking just constant pyro.
Yes.
Nice. I'm not surprised that Bring Me went that way. I think I said it before. Older bands they've got their back catalogue to sort of rely on. Metallica don't really need to do much more than that. Whereas the newer bands coming up, they have to make a show of it. They have to cause a scene. They have to grab people. I suppose. Come on.
That's also just kind of how the way we've had to sell ourselves the entire way through. Like Bring Me has had to work much harder than Metallica and much harder than Slipknot to get to that level. Like it just is how it is because the demand on what a band needs to do in order to get its break has increased so much from the days of Metallica starting out. Definitely. Even from the early 2000s and late 1990s when Slipknot and the new metal scene came on. So
yeah, definitely, 100%.
And Bring Me the Horizon had their Church of Genexus thing, which we've spoken about. Ghost also had the booth in the guest area, I don't think I can think of any other bands that had any extras dotted around, and that's the two that were pegged to. I don't know if it was pegged the right word. Yeah, pegged. I don't know. I'll stop myself. Yeah, that's the two bands that people were talking about headlining, and they're the two bands that brought something extra, which
Yeah.
I think is also incredible. Like we said,
Oh.
bands are going to need to start doing that kind of thing
Yeah.
to stand
I
out.
don't know how many of those damn Papa Emeritus masks I saw all day on Sunday.
I
They
bet.
were
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a group of us. We managed to get 8 people in that ghost photo booth, and that was a very uncomfortable 30 seconds.
Yeah, no. If anybody else can think of any other bands that brought something like that, let us know. I can't think of anything at the moment.
I don't think I saw anything else. Yeah.
No, but it was a big festival. There was lots of it that I didn't see this year when I normally would. I normally have a walk around everywhere to see everything. But yeah, we're probably going to have to. I've also said when we were talking to Stu, probably do something that I don't usually do and I don't like doing, but I'm going to have to sort of cut it here and sort of start to wind it down. Normally, I'll just carry on chatting for as long as we need to. So sorry, guys, I'm going to have to start winding it down here. Is there anything? Yeah, no, I
can go on all day, bro.
Yeah, you could.
So could
Yeah,
we, but we are
on
planning on are planning on having 4 different guests on this episode, which is something we've never done. We've never had more than sort of 2 separate guests. So it's going to be cool, but also out of my comfort zone and having to stop people from talking, which I don't like doing, I'm afraid, but I'm going to have to do it. So is there anything else you wanted to touch on just really quickly before we, well, not necessarily really quickly, but as we're starting to wind down, anything else you wanted to touch on that you want people to know about, you want to talk about specifically for this episode?
Yeah, let's talk about the Paradise.
Oh, yes.
New single and new video to it.
Awesome. Yeah, I had to go and meet my girlfriend who arrived on the Friday, and I was sat there for about 2 hours waiting for her, and I listened to it probably 3 or 4 times because it was out that morning. I think it was a Friday. Yeah, you said the day before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was cool. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed the video as well. It's a visualizer. I don't think I've seen or heard of visualizers before.
Yeah, they're very popular in like the electronic scene because obviously there's no lyrics and visualizing is really important for that kind of genre. So I was debating about making a lyric video of just like the text going across the VR screen and all that stuff. But then I was like, I mean, that's only gonna go so far. Like, do people really sit through and watch these lyric videos? Yes, no. So I got to playing around with just different concepts of things that would fit the song. So I came up with this concept of it's going to be this VR experience where it starts off pretty light with like, video games and teabagging and all that stuff, just general rage quitting. But then it eventually dives into some more serious issues like gambling, pornography, all that stuff. So it's this video that really captures what the Paradise song is about, and it tells its own story. And the only way I was able to do that was I tapped into my teachings of game design. So when I went to college for game design, I had to use these 3D program softwares and all that stuff to learn. It wasn't more oriented on 3D modeling, but it was just more of how to use assets and put them into games and stuff. So I had this whole library of assets that I had and just the knowledge of doing these things. So it just kind of became a thing that escalated further and further. And I was like, oh, I can do this now. Oh, I can do this now. And all these wild concepts started popping up. So I finally got them all figured out and was rendering them. And I couldn't be more happy with how the video turned out. I think it's very entertaining to watch. And it also depicts the story that I wanted it to.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. I did watch it once. I'm gonna watch it again, knowing all of that stuff now, and I'll probably be a lot more sort of engaged. Yeah, that is pretty cool though. You're talking about the lyric videos. Yeah, they were a huge thing for a little while, but I haven't really seen people doing them much recently. So maybe you made the right call there.
They're out there still. They're just like I'll start one, and if nothing really changes by the first chorus, I'm like, I'm just gonna go listen to the song. I don't need to
Yeah, it's true.
watch this thing. But if you have something, story wise that's kind of changing, or if it's, I've sometimes see where it's like kind of a hybrid of like a music video and a lyric video kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of people
Those
are
are
doing
cool.
those now, where it's like half. You see shots, but then you see like lyrics as well. So yeah.
Yeah, like Queens of the Stone Age, what they did for their songs, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And that's a good example of the hybrid. But
like
eventually, hopefully do like a legit music video in terms of like band performance and real life story kind of thing.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do like a single room shot with like the 20 different camera angles, the strobing light type stuff that everybody's doing. Like they're quick and effective, but it's just coming from a creative standpoint. I'm like, I don't want to waste this like single with something like that. So, and also I was building it keeping in mind of what could potentially be the stage. So like this next gig that we're doing with Drowning Pool in Cheyenne here, it's going to be a proper theater, and we've got a special backdrop that has the VR mask with our logo on it. We're going to have 2 scrims that will be centers, or in line with the drum kit in depth wise, with hologram like stills from what that video has. Yeah, Andrew's showing you on the.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
And then like I'm working on these boxes, these LED boxes that will just light up and glow. So like I'm trying to transform our stage into that experience there. So
That's
like
awesome.
And then like one day when I've got a video wall behind me, I can just put that video up.
Yeah.
It's perfectly in sync with the with the song. So done.
Yeah.
Like, did that work? So
Yeah.
like that's why I went ham for 2 months and just went back to my game design days, of just staying up all night and just hammering it all out. But
Awesome.
yeah,
I gotta run to the
it's
toilet
fun
real quick.
stuff.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
It's drinking all that fucking water and apple juice, man. That's what it is. Honestly, I've never seen anyone like. I don't want to see what his like sugar intake is, but if you look on apple juice, there is so much sugar in it. Like, how can he drink an entire carton of that, man?
It's sweet, bro. It tastes good.
Yeah, it's nice, but I'm not sure I could drink a whole carton of it. Like, that's too much, man.
There we go. We'll just give him
know,
the leftover apple juice that Jackson doesn't drink.
Yeah, that's what you need to do.
Yeah. We have apple juice on our rider for our drummer. For some reason, every time we get it, they give us like 2 big cartons of it.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Like, a little one.
How much do you
Just
spend
for one person.
That would be on Adam's rider as well. He'd be like, "Yeah, I want that apple juice, man, like 100%." So weird.
Well, I mean, he's still 17. I'm like, we gotta have something for him besides water, I guess. Maybe.
He's good. He's good, by the way. Really good. Yeah, I was like, because musicians always watch musicians, but I'm not a drummer. But when you look at someone, I thought he looked so comfortable and like just really groovy as well. Like I was like, yes, he's really good. So
yeah,
that was
he
awesome.
has an excellent pocket. Oh, the way that he plays, he reminds me of Sean Kinney from Alice in Chains, just with like how relaxed he is, but it's still like right on.
Yeah.
If that makes any kind of sense.
No, it's true, because some drummers really look like they're really hammering the drums, where others don't look like that, but you're still like, they still sound really fat, but you don't look like you're doing anything. Like, what the hell's happening?
Here's a fun fact. He was playing Joey Jordison's snare.
Really?
On our set. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So he had developed a friendship with Joey before he passed away.
Wow.
So like the family gave him that snare along with a couple other things of Joey's. So he was super excited to bring it out to download and play.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Wow. Has he used it any other times, or is that going to be like the sole time?
I don't know if he's going to bring it out for this next show, but he really likes it. I mean, it's a loud snare, man. Like the rehearsal space that we use. Man, my ears are just nothing but the snare. And I don't like the snare for rehearsing because it's a nightmare. But
on
it's
stage,
pretty cool
it's
that's.
Oh wait, actually, you guys said you wanted to talk about the sound, and we didn't talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
That just reminded me.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, like it doesn't have to be on the
Monitors.
podcast, but I can talk about the
Yeah.
clusterfuck that it was.
Our front of house sound was excellent because Matt and I's dad mixed us. So dad mixed us, and he's mixed us forever, so he knows what he's doing. I had no worries about front of house, but monitors, man, they were a clusterfuck because originally, like, we're used to in-ear monitors, not the wedges, because we all play to a click track.
Yeah.
And when we found out that we were, invited to download, I forget what the organization is, but we had to, submit wireless frequencies for approval because we're right next to the airport there.
Okay.
And we never heard back from them if they were approved or not.
No,
So
we heard back from them after we got back.
That's true. Yeah, when we got back, we heard back from them. But so we didn't take any wireless gear over. I brought my wireless for my guitar just in case it was allowed, but like we knew we couldn't bring ears over because Festival Republic said that they were going to provide ears for everybody and there would be no charge. Sweet. So we get to Dogtooth stage. We got to the arena at like 9 a.m. that morning. Creeper did their setup and sound check, and then I think maybe we had like 40 minutes, I guess, before our set that we started to set
40,
up and figure things out. Yeah. And like nobody on the monitor tech over there had no idea that we were supposed to have wireless in-ears. So then he had to go get frequencies. And then so there were three of us on the wireless. Jackson, luckily we brought a hard wire pack because I'm not going to fuck with that, So originally, like, my ears were good. Andreas's were good. Matthew's were noisy as hell. They fixed Matthew's. Then Andreas's were noisy as hell. Then they finally got all the wireless packs somewhat decent, minimal noise at least. And we just did like quick mixes. Mine was fine. I think Andreas's and Jackson's were fine. Matthew started out fine, and then he was just fighting the monitor engineer the whole time during our set.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing.
Guitar was too loud or something.
Like the first two songs were fine, and then we get into I think it was Other Side, and all of a sudden the guitar is just like screaming in my ear, and I hate guitar in my ear. Like my ideal level is just barely there, just enough where like subconsciously I can listen to the pitch.
Yeah.
And that's all I need, right? Like I hate guitar because the frequency, like those midtones and whatnot, it just gets all up and messes with where I'm trying to listen to.
Yeah.
So this thing's like blaring in my ear, and I'm looking over at the guy, and I'm like, let's bring it down. And he's just like, he's off having a conversation with the stage manager, and it's not like you could tell based on their body language and kind of like they're chuckling, like it wasn't anything like show related. Like it's like they're like talking about, I don't know, sports or something. I'm like, what the fuck we doing? Like, I get we're the first band unknown and all that shit, but my God, you have a job to do, man. So that was the only thing I was disappointed with in this festival. And I will be harsh to the guy. Like, I don't care if he ever listens to this podcast. You got to have your shit down because that I hope it's not the one in a lifetime that I played at festival or not, but it really pissed me off and kind of ruined it in a way. Like I was so focused on that like I don't want to be focused on that. Like I just want to be able to perform. But when I'm fighting where my voice is and all that stuff, it just becomes a less well of a performance for me. Like my ideal performance is I have no issues with the sound and I can just do what I do. When I have to constantly be fighting, trying to hear my voice and stuff like that, it takes away from.
I saw you take the earpiece out for a bit, and then you put it back on because you were obviously checking to see, right, has this dickhead turned this fucking guitar down yet? And you put it back in, and you're singing. You're like, do you know what?
Out, I was like, what are we doing? Like, I looked over at him like 3 or 4 times, and then I think because we were told, like, my dad afterwards, he was like, yeah, there was a point where the house engineer, like the front of house guy, started noticing that you were fighting the monitor guy, and he was getting pissed off that the crew was being neglectful in that sense. Like that was the only issue I had for any like staff related things to the festival, because everybody else security, the liaisons, just like general festival people were incredible and so easy to work with. So I was surprised leading up to that point that the sound was going to be what disappointed me and pissed me off. Yeah, so
yeah, it's true. Like, you guys are only on for like 25 minutes. All the guy has to do is stand there and basically just, do some
Touch me.
levels. If you go, you're too loud, he'll be like, right, shit, man, sorry. I'll get that down for you. I mean, that's not difficult to do. Like,
no.
It's a fader.
It's a fucking fader. Like, anyone, you could have one finger on your entire hand and still be able to do it. Like,
right. And I'd imagine, I would imagine that most bands that day had their own dude take over too. Because you travel with your crew. So like that guy probably didn't have to work shit all weekend, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't have anybody there. Maybe just called him in from the crowd. And he didn't really know what he was doing.
He doesn't actually work there. It's just a random guy.
Right. Yeah.
But what just amazes me is like you have the easiest mix of all of us because you have three things.
Yeah.
Well, four things. You have your voice, which is always the loudest fucking thing in your ear. The click, just because we're all on it. And then a little bit of guitar and a little bit of the track is.
Yeah.
That's four things.
Yeah, my mix is atrocious.
My mix, if I'm doing it right. If I'm doing a mix, dude, I try and make my shit sound like a record. Like it's stupid. But that's also the audio engineer in me. That I can fuck around with these things in my own time and whatever. But it's just I felt so bad that he was fighting them the whole time and I had no way of telling him.
Oh yeah, it's funny because I watched these videos. Yeah, I watched like videos of crowd shot things and like a bunch of Jackson's friends and families. They like filmed it all, so I'm like rewatching this stuff, and you just see me like,
I had a video of you, and you're like, get this shit down.
I'm like,
man.
What the fuck, man? So I think it just turned into him like he thought I was just an asshole at some point and just stopped paying attention because I think he turned up the guitar at some point because that's when I ripped the ears off. I was like, fuck this. Like, I'll have one ear out and just that's how I'll be able to listen to my, to my pitch and all that stuff.
Yeah. Jesus. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, isn't it? Just one guy causing all these problems.
It's throwing,
right?
Yeah, you would think the first band on would be when he would be most focused as well. Maybe throughout the day you get a little bit less focused because you've been working for so long. But that is crazy to hear.
The other thing too that kind of threw me off was, we had received these documents and stuff beforehand or emails that kind of just told us, here's what to expect of the day. And Dogtooth specifically said, unless you're the headliner, we're just doing line checks and then you go. So we did our line check. We did that quick little monitor check. And then I fucked off to the green room to like get a cider or something. And like, I'm suddenly getting yelled at like, yo, we're doing a sound check now. I'm like, I didn't think we got one because everything said it's just line check and then, go. Yeah. So it's just some things like that. But
yeah, the stage manager and monitor guy were
they're a little sus.
Yeah.
If that's literally the only
security, man. That was shout out to Carl and his crew. Like the security was great. I got that threw me off. Like I was like, I had this security briefing like before I went off where he's like, here's the hand signals that I want you to do in case you go into the crowd, you need help to get out, like all that stuff. I was like, all right, no, that's
awesome.
Like,
yeah.
I had not expected that and all that. Like I expected like main stage obviously for that stuff, but the way they treated all the different stages, it was professional all the way around.
Yeah.
Hopefully next time you come back, you'll be on the Avalanche stage, so you won't have to put up with that guy again.
They move him right there. He somehow gets upgraded to that.
You look over and you go, "Oh shit, it's the same guy on a different stage."
Guy.
I just turn around like, nope.
But Simon's pretty good at that kind of thing. So if you do see him, get him off.
I'll hop over the barrier, man. Don't worry, I'll be right up there if that guy's there again. Just give me a hand signal. I'll be over.
the thing about Carl, the head security guy, I didn't even realize it at the moment. And Matthew brought this up to me. He was probably the only staff member there that had an American accent, and we were thrown off by it.
Yeah, I was
We were
thrown
used to
off by
everybody
it.
having, the various British accents that we're not
Yeah.
used to over here. And
Yeah.
it was like, wait
Wait a minute.
he just sounded like he was from the
Wait a
Midwest.
Yeah, fun time.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's probably about time to wrap it up there. I don't really want to. I could carry on talking to you. Listening to this in the future, you guys will probably hear me say this for everybody. But it's true. We could just talk to everybody for such a long time. This would be an 8-hour episode if I had my own way. But it's not gonna happen. We have to cut off at some point. I'm sorry, guys. So we're gonna have to say goodbye in a minute. Is there any do you want to give any shout outs or plugs? Tell people where they can find certain things.
Yeah, definitely need to shout out our patrons, Brandon, Jay, and Vivian. Thank you for your support. And anybody who wants to join the Patreon, come on in. We got exclusive videos, photos, merch that you can only get on the Patreon, which is cool. And then wanted to shout out Simon, man. Congrats on getting married, dude.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. It's all been downhill since then. There's been nothing but arguments.
She trapped you.
Yeah, so I expected it, so it's fine. But thank you.
Amazing.
Awesome. And obviously there's the Paradise new single. When can you give us any secrets? Can you tell us any inside information? When can we expect the album? We've never had anybody tell us any secrets yet.
Our fall is so up in the air right now. So it really depends on what happens in the fall. I would like to finish writing the album this year, if not start recording it this year. So like hopefully next year, like early next year, is when we get that squared away.
I would say like probably summer or fall of next year is my realistic take on when it would be released.
The way things happen for us, yeah.
Okay.
We say those days.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure we have done an episode before, sort of reviewing. Was it a single or an EP? It was a single, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, I'm sure we will do another episode specifically about your album. I reckon maybe, because that would be cool. But yeah, thank you for coming on, guys. It's been really cool. It's been so cool to hear about all the things that you got up to, and the fact that you liked our cider. Our cider.
Cider.
I have cravings of it still.
Oh man.
Well, you know what you have to do. Either get yourself booked back for download or bring a tour over here so you can fill up on cider.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Has to happen.
Definitely. Well, well, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Andrew. It's been a pleasure to have you on. It's been really, really nice chatting to you.
Yep. Thank you for having us again. Always a pleasure to talk with you guys.
And now we have another very special guest, one of my longest friends. She's very, very tall. No. I was trying to work it out the other day. We've actually known each other for over 20 years.
Thank you for making me feel old.
You're younger than me. But yes, so we have a good friend of mine on, Hannah, come to talk about. Now I got this wrong several times recently, and you corrected me, didn't you? So it's Melbourne Hall. Hannah, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for asking me
Excellent.
to come on your podcast. Really
No problem.
excited.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. It's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
So I just want to say this straight out the bat. I don't know much about. I wanted to say Holcombe House again. Then I don't know much about Melbourne Hall.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long a conversation this can be, or it could be very, very, very short. It could be really long. We don't know. So it's up to Hannah how much detail she wants to go in, or how much detail she can go in. Really, to be fair. So I don't know how much was different to what we experienced, but yeah, we'll try and see where it goes.
Yeah, and it depends if you guys have got any questions. I know you've got the Discord.
Yeah.
The guys are right in and ping me some questions. I'm happy to answer if I can. Anyway, but I'll try my best too.
And so as I just said, we've known each other over 20 years. But one thing that sort of struck me I think I was wrong about it, but one thing that struck me a couple of nights ago was I didn't think we'd actually even been to download together or as part of the same group.
And we actually
the
had
whole time.
once.
But we have once. But
So that shows how drunk that Adam gets.
What
at
year?
downloads,
Yeah, what
typically.
year? Which year was that then that you guys went?
It must have been either 2007 or 8.
Wow.
Okay.
But again, that was a very long time ago, so I can't recall. Maybe because I was probably as drunk as Adam is not now currently, but you know.
I honestly think he doesn't.
Download only.
Yeah, he doesn't remember. I'd say 10 to 12 downloads. He has pretty much no recollection of at all, which is pretty useless for a download guy.
So the fact that I've got it between 2 years is actually pretty good going. Then I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I've said before they all sort of blur into one to me now. But the other thing I said the other night was you probably actually went to see the bands.
I did,
and at that time I was very much anchored to the campsite quite a lot. So probably didn't see you around much that weekend anyway. That's probably why I forgot. Well, and many other things. But yeah, so tell us, which downloads have you actually been to? Do you know? Do you remember?
So 2006, 7, and 8, and then a big old chunk of a gap right in between there for about 14 years. Yeah, only started going again last year.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've only actually ever been to 5 downloads, which isn't a lot. So and a hefty old gap right in between them as well. So
that's but that 5 is still a decent amount of downloads. But is there a reason for the gap? What
adulting.
Adulting, that is a big thing. Yeah.
You know, very young, go to a couple of festivals, and then it's the having to get a flat and pay bills and things like that, and proper adult. So that kind of put a big old time in between. But yeah, I'm happy to say that last year I had the chance to come back and come back better than ever. Caveat is that I had stayed in Sleepy Hollow last year, so I was actually in RIP last year. So Melbourne Hall, it was a completely different package to this. So there's a lot of differences between. But obviously, again, you've got people coming on to talk about RIP, but obviously I can switch between the two and talk a little bit about both if anyone wants to hear about the differences or the pros and cons for each or either. So there we go.
Yeah, we're just intrigued to hear about this Melbourne house because we literally, they had pictures and then they had kind of what you were getting, but then when they sold out, they took everything off the website, so you couldn't see anything about it again. So we were like, okay, I guess that happened and went. So we're actually really intrigued to know what the hell happened and what was it like.
Yeah, to be fair, a lot of us didn't know until a couple of days before what we were actually getting ourselves into. They didn't release a lot of information at all. We were expecting an email sort of a week in advance just to sort of give us a heads up of where we were actually going and what time to arrive at campsites and things like that. And of course, we got that dreaded you can't arrive until Thursday at 6 a.m. So we missed the Wednesday completely.
What?
So no access to the campsite whatsoever until 6 a.m. on the Thursday. So we missed out on all the Wednesday night shenanigans. So a little bit, and we paid the same price as RIP. So that taking that day off kind of really did make a big difference.
Did it say that when you originally booked the tickets, or
did it say?
Not. Did you complain about that?
No.
Okay, maybe you should have, because
maybe
you might have been able to get something out of them.
I really can't remember anywhere it's saying you cannot arrive. On the Ticketmaster, on the page that you get your tickets from. Nowhere on that first page when you purchase the tickets did it say, you're not no entry on the Wednesday or. So that was a bit sucky. But actually in hindsight, quite a good idea because the traffic that ensued on the Wednesday for everybody else, bless you, for the people that went up on a Wednesday.
We got away with that, but obviously for other people it was very, very bad. But we actually got away with it pretty well. Actually.
So Adam, a couple of friends of ours, it took them 12 hours from Bristol to get up. To download. So
I did not know that.
So Matt and Nat. Hi.
Okay. Yeah. Jesus.
12 hours. So I'm quite happy in a way that the 6 a.m. on a Thursday for Rock Retreat was a thing in the end, because that sort of got that out of the way a little bit, and it wasn't too bad then arriving. I think we arrived somewhere about 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning and straight in. No problems. 10 minutes away from the main download site, so we're absolutely nowhere on site. Straight into the gate, straight into a field. Obviously, it's parking next to your car. So similar in RIP, if any guys have stayed in RIP. So you get to park your car next to your tent. So none of this lugging all your shit. Miles and miles and miles. You are parking where you sleep, basically, which is fantastic.
What was the overall vibe then? Because it's far from it's away from the actual camping, which can be mental. But sometimes RIP, I've heard, is quite, not tame, but quite quiet, just generally, compared to the sort of general camping. Like,
Absolutely.
Was it like staying in RIP where it was quiet, or was it rowdy, or because it was far away, was it like silent? Like, what the hell was the vibe?
I could hear crickets at night. Is all I say.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So quiet. So quiet. So there's a curfew in RIP, and subsequently this one as well. No noise after 1 a.m.
Okay.
So yeah, they actually have little security men. I guess they have them everywhere that will come up and down and check you being quiet and give you a little telling off if you're being a bit too noisy.
I tell you what,
I couldn't do that.
No, me neither. I would be so drunk at that point. If anyone came and told me to be quiet, things would get rowdy. Like pretty quickly.
So it is more for the people that like me. Like, I can't sleep a little bit. I do need to get my sleep. I do need to have sleep. Otherwise, I am not the nicest person to be around. I will, kick the fuck off. My fucking 8 hours. I tell you what.
That's understandable though. I totally get that, and why people go to like quiet camp and stuff. Like, I get it. Some people need their sleep, and that's fine. And especially if you're a light sleep, like I'm the sort of person that is, if I'm going to fall asleep, I'll be asleep. But obviously, other people will get woken up if they're really light sleepers. So I get it. I totally get it. It's just I can't imagine someone coming up to me at a festival and saying, "Can you keep it down,
past
please?"
1 a.m. Shush. You're at Download Festival. Shut up.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But yeah, it's madness. But yeah, camping next to your tent, like bloody hell. Everybody, at least once at Download, needs to camp next to their tent. Camp next to their tent. Park next to their tent.
Yeah.
The lugging you guys have to do back and forth from your camp. Like, I know you only have to do it once. Well, actually, sometimes people do multiple trips, don't they?
2 trips, yeah.
2 or 3, and then the last day when you just about fucking had enough, and you've got to do that horrible gauntlet back to your vehicle. No, thank you. I'll pass on that.
It wastes so much time as well. We were saying this before, like that time that you spend lugging your stuff or going back to the car, that is all your time. Like, you should spend relaxing or drinking, and it totally zaps your energy as well. When you get there, you're like knackered, like absolutely shattered. It's weird.
But other than that, you had a VIP sort of our reception, so it was open 24 hours. If you needed anything for any reason, there was always a member of staff there. Can I just say how friendly and lovely the staff actually were? Really, really, really lovely staff actually, which sometimes at festivals you don't get. I think, Adam, you said, there's a couple of grouchy people because obviously it was very hot and people were pissed off at this point, but the guys...
8 hours sleep.
Yeah, there you go. But the guys at Melbourne did their jobs. They were efficient. We didn't come across anybody that was rude. They were really helpful. Even, the security that did have to go up and down and do all their little checks, they stopped and had a chat, and really pleasant. So, yeah, that was a really, really lovely experience. So, thumbs up to the security and the staff at Rock Retreat. You did a fab job.
Nice. That's good to hear, actually, because it was very mixed this year. A lot of people said that security and staff were really good, and a lot of people really weren't happy. So it was a mixed bag. So it's good to hear something positive, because I've seen a lot of negativity about them. So,
absolutely no fault with them whatsoever. So you had your reception, and then you had a little sort of horseshoe bar with craft beer in it, and then you had a little pizza room with like a stone baked pizza place thing, and then a little coffee tea thing in the morning that would serve like bacon rolls and stuff like that you could just go up, and that is obviously just a couple of feet away from your tent, basically.
Nice. So you could you smell that? Could you smell that the whole time?
in the morning.
Oh, that would be
Just lovely.
infuriating. Just smelling this like amazing food constantly.
So that was fantastic. There wasn't a lot of option in terms of food. So in the Melbourne Hall, the actual poster that Download released that said what was included, it said tea rooms that served full English breakfast. What they didn't tell you is that that's a 10-minute walk away from your campsite. It's actually in the town of Melbourne.
Right.
You have to, well, you can get the shuttle buses, and we'll go on to shuttle buses because that's going to be the big thing about
we'll get there.
the package. Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, it wasn't actually on site. You did have to either get a shuttle bus or wait for one, go down into the village, have your tea, coffee, etc., then get another shuttle bus either to the arena or back to your tent, regarding whatever you're doing.
Did you go for the tea, or did you not go?
No, I did not.
No, okay. I was just intrigued. Like, just quickly, because that just made me think of something. Like, overall, how many people would you say that there were in this bit?
In the Rock Retreat?
Yeah.
Oh god!
Like, just to throw a number out there, like how busy was it? Like, was it rammed? Was it?
Absolutely
plenty
not.
Of space? No.
Plenty of space. The way they set it up was it was over a couple of different fields, and I don't think I've mentioned about the grounds that it's on. It's Melbourne Hall, so it's a big estate house, one of those grand places that people live. I don't know, like a mansion.
I think you can see it from Purple, can't you? I believe.
Oh,
I could be wrong on that. You can see a big house from Purple. I was there last year.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's it might be that one, but you definitely can see a big one from Purple, 100%.
So maybe it is that. But the grounds, amazing, all level, all flat, so you're not rolling out your tent out the end on a hill, which is the one gripe I will have with Sleepy Hollow. If you end up on that hill, no, it's not good. It's not. But yeah, level floor, peaceful, trees in between. Picturesque, cute, loved it.
Nice,
loved it. So yeah, the grounds and the actual campsite itself, brilliant.
I'm not sure if something you might know, but the one of the RIPs is actually a campsite for the rest of the year. Do you know if this is Melbourne Hall, whatever it's called? Do you know if that is a I can't get the word now. Too busy making a joke. Yeah, you know what I mean. Is it a campsite like the rest of the year? Do you know?
I don't know.
No.
I didn't do a lot of research into it when I originally bought the tickets. It was a kind of thank you Ticketmaster and Download for only releasing one RIP ticket at a time last year.
Yeah.
Which got us into a lot of trouble. So yeah, we would have been in Sleepy Hollow again if it wasn't for that. But of course, all the RIP packages then sold out. So yeah, Melbourne Hall was obviously the next best thing. It was marketed as an alternative to RIP. So you know, we were like, yeah, we'll go for it. Yes, it's going to be a shuttle bus. How bad can that be? And again, we will get onto that.
Oh yeah, I was going to say on that. I mean, so there was only about 3 things I knew about Rock Retreat, and I think that's because you told me them about 3 days before the festival in the supermarket because I just happened to see you. But yeah, one was that you had to arrive on a Thursday. You couldn't arrive before that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the other one was. I'm sure you've said it, but yeah, the third one was that you didn't think at that point you could go to the village. You didn't think you could use the shuttle buses to actually get to the village. It was arena only, but that changed, didn't it?
Changed really, really quickly, actually. Again, this is the information we were given, not a lot in advance. So up until a certain point, we didn't even know if we were going to have access to the village. And obviously paying RIP prices for something, because it was, and not being able to go to the village, that's a big slap in the face. So I was just like, absolutely not. And yeah, no, thankfully, they okayed the access to the village, which is brilliant. But shuttle buses, again, we're just going to continuously keep going back to
the circle. It's going to circle. Yeah, and then we're going to go right down the drain, don't worry.
Yeah, but you know, as an experience at Melbourne Hall, I would recommend it for the guys wanting to potentially try RIP, but maybe don't have the funds to go that far. And I do actually want to talk to you about your guys' opinion on RIP, what you said in your last podcast, where how do people afford it? How do people afford to pay RIP prices? Well, there is something called Klarna, and it's a very, very lovely thing.
True. Yeah, that's true.
Glorious. And it means you can split your payments over so many months. So actually, I don't pay that much a month I pay monthly.
I
my
was
download
denied.
ticket.
I was denied for Klarna for download this year. So
Oh, you're joking?
no, well, we didn't buy a house that long ago, so my credit's in the fucking dumps at the moment. So yeah, because I applied for it. I was like, oh, Klarna, download to Klarna, great. No,
Yeah,
they were like, no.
that has gotten me through the last couple of years. Is Klarna? Really? I wouldn't been able to stay in RIP if it wasn't for that sweet little app called Klarna. So thank you.
Yeah, I've never applied, so I don't know if I'd be able to get it. But yeah, I was thinking at one point I might just get myself a credit card with like just £1,000 limit, and that's all I'd use it for, download tickets. So I've got my own monthly payments instead of having to rely on them, because some people got screwed because they had the money there and they just didn't take it and then lost their tickets. So yeah, but anyway, that's going off a little bit. Do you want to go into shuttle buses, or is there any more you wanted to talk about before?
Well, can I have one? I got one more question. How close was the camping to the actual hall? Because the hall itself looks amazing.
So you could see it from your campsite if you walked down. So they had the boarding that they have put down when you obviously wheel your cars. If you're in RIP and things like that, you do get that, because obviously it gets muddy.
So you didn't have access to the grounds of the hall. Oh, that's a shame, because it looks really, really cool.
No, so you could have a walk into Melbourne itself and where the little tea room is and all that stuff. There's little bakeries and things like that, so you can actually go around the village of Melbourne, and all the staff in the village were friendly as well. I heard so a couple of people went down and had some full English breakfasts, and said that they were lovely down there as well, and very welcoming to everybody coming from a festival and interrupting their little business for a couple of days. They were quite happy.
Is Melbourne that little high street then that the co-op was on that we all used to walk to? Or is that a different high street? I'm very confused.
Donington.
Is it?
Donington Town, I believe.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's got a little pub down there. I don't know what it's called. There might be the Nag's Head that Antisaint went to.
That's it. Yeah, it's the big one on the corner. Okay, because I was very confused about... I never actually known what that was, but obviously before they done co-op at Download, we used to walk into the town to the co-op to get alcohol to bring it back.
Oh my gosh.
Which is why they must have done the co-op thing, because everyone was going into the town and they were probably like, all these grebos all over the town, let's just take the co-op to the festival. So yeah, and I was just curious, sorry.
Yeah, but they were quite happy to have everyone down there, which was again a really lovely experience. So that side, brilliant. The one thing I did just want to say was set up a WhatsApp group for Melbourne Hall. So anyone going next year that wants to have any buddies to hang out, there is a WhatsApp group. Lovely guy called Pritch set it up. He follows you guys as well. So I just wanted to say hello.
Ooh.
Hello,
Pritch.
Hi.
And yeah, that really helped us out. So just before we go on to shuttle buses, because I will rant about it.
Okay.
Of course, being the first year, no one had a clue what was going on. We were all in the same boat. So, thought we'd set up a little WhatsApp group so we could let each other know what was going on, what we were stuck, if we were stuck anywhere, if we got denied access, if we couldn't get back. Yeah, just ping each other a message.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it was lovely.
I think you said, just in case you needed to sort of get a taxi if you're too late for the shuttle buses or something like that.
Yeah, shuttle buses.
We're circling. Should we just do it?
We'll go on to the shuttle.
We'll go for it. Let's do it. I'm excited. I'm excited.
The shuttle buses. No. That's the biggest gripe with everybody. I asked the guys on the WhatsApp group, I said, I'm going to go talk on a podcast. Do you want me to ask any questions, or what do you want to say about Melbourne Hall and the experience in general? And it was the shuttle buses.
Okay. Well, how were they supposed to run before you rant about them? Were they supposed to be like every hour, both ways, or?
I think it was every half an hour, I believe. Yeah. And it wasn't the running of them that was the problem. They didn't ever have to wait that long for one, which wasn't really an issue. But they would wait there until the buses were full enough. And some days, if you noticed, it was quite warm.
Yeah.
So we were spending half an hour sat on a bus waiting for it to actually do a thing and move. But it was waiting because obviously they only run one every half an hour. They wanted to make sure it was kind of worth that one journey, I guess, to get as many people onto it to head up to the arena. So the waiting on one was not fun. And then obviously the Thursday, people were still arriving. So it actually took us 45 minutes, I think, to get from our campsite to the main arena on the first day on the shuttle bus,
That's
which
ridiculous.
is 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
And you
sat
said
there like,
you weren't
should
allowed
have
to walk
walked.
it either.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to walk, were you?
Absolutely not allowed to walk. Walking was prohibited. It was not safe. It was on a main road. So, country lanes and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw anybody walking up lanes and things. I definitely did, going back and forth on the shuttle bus. People were putting themselves in a little bit of danger by walking up there, and it wasn't that safe. But, you know.
I heard a similar story, just going off, a similar story at for Blue Ridge Rock Festival in America. They had shuttle buses from the campsites, and people were walking like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and they were actually being turned away and being told to walk back to get the shuttle bus. And it was like, what's the point? Like, I'm here now. Why didn't you just let me in? I wonder if that would have happened.
I don't think so. I don't think it was very well regulated, to be fair. I think you could have just had a little wander down. I think a few people from the WhatsApp group had said that they'd wandered down into Melbourne. So obviously that's still a 5-6 minute walk away from our camp, I think. I didn't do it, so I'm just making this up as I go. We cooked the majority of our food at the camp, got a shuttle bus, and then obviously, we got dropped off west entrance. So by black and blue, yellow there. Yeah. The transport hub. So where all the buses come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where we got dropped off. Most of the time at the bottom of the hill. And then we have that one glorious time that the bus driver was feeling very lovely and would actually drive up the top of the hill and drop us at the top, which was great.
Nice.
We applauded him for that. But yeah, basically had the same amount of walk then for the people that were staying in black, blue or yellow.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they could have done that every time then. That would have saved the walk.
Yeah, but no, not every time.
It's probably a good maybe 20-minute walk from there as well.
Yeah, so you've waited, say...
That sucks. That sucks.
You've waited half an hour for a shuttle bus, say. You've got on that shuttle bus. The shuttle bus is then stuck in traffic for 45 minutes. You get there, then you get off, and then you have to do the same walk.
Jesus.
As everyone else.
Yeah, that's long. That's long considering that if people in purple can see where you guys are camping, that's really, really long.
Yeah.
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 Maybe it's a different one. I don't know. I could be wrong. Could you see normal camping from where you were?
Yeah, so I could see as you come into the transport hub, you've got I think a little bit of RIP on the right hand side as you go up. That's as you start going into the arena though, isn't it?
Yeah, but from where you were camped.
Oh God, no, we couldn't see anything.
Okay, so it must be a different house, I think.
Yeah, couldn't see anything. I mean, lots of trees in the grounds themselves, so it was quite nice. Yeah, like I said, campsite absolutely amazing. Shuttle buses. The other problem with them, stopping at 12 o'clock at night.
Yes, that is a problem.
Definitely.
If you want to go to the village or to the doghouse, you can't. Because most of the headline bands finish at 11.
Yeah, round there.
Right.
And you have to make sure you get back to the entrance as well, back to the West Car Park.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So no village. I didn't even see the doghouse this year.
Really?
Didn't even glimpse it.
That
didn't
sucks.
See it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, that is crazy actually, considering you're 10 minutes away. Like,
you've really got to get back for those shuttle buses. So actually, and again, the big gripe: having to leave headline sets halfway through just to get back in time to get a shuttle bus back to camp.
God.
Otherwise, you're kind of stranded. WhatsApp group came in absolute handy for a couple of people who wanted to catch like DJ sets and stuff in the village. They all rallied and actually got taxis together, which was brilliant.
Nice.
But yeah, having to leave sets that I was really, really excited to see and try and, just one more song, and then having to leave because you've got to get that goddamn shuttle bus.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's literally sucks. Like, what the hell? That is crazy. Like, what? I suppose that's the crux. Like, it was a really nice place that you stayed in, and I'm sure you got some good shut eye as well. But the crux of it is the transport's so bad that it actually affects you enjoying the actual festival. Like, even if you don't count the partying bit as a bit of the festival, if you're leaving a headliner to go to a place which is download have approved you to camp at, that is no good.
Yeah. So shuttle buses. That's probably not even the end of it. You obviously had to get one in time that it wasn't so cramped that you had to wait to the next one. Waiting in lines for shuttle buses. The whole transport hub was on that west side car park. So it's not only us waiting for buses, it's hundreds and hundreds of people waiting to get transport places,
Oh, yeah, of course.
So you kind of had to leave early enough just to sort of beat the crowd a little bit.
Madness.
Yeah, not for me. I was going to say, not
Yeah.
rather have that walk on the Wednesday
At
and
first,
the Sunday.
you were really selling it,
Almost
but
that.
this bit
Yeah.
has thrown me right
But
off now.
just that. Not being able to go back to your tent, just if you need to, having to get a shuttle bus back, to having to do the walk back from the arena, back to the transport hub, to get a shuttle bus, back to camp, to do whatever you need to do back at camp if you just wanted to have a quick drink or what have you.
Or afternoon nap.
Or a nap, yeah.
In my case.
And then having to get the shuttle bus back to do that walk again, back to the arena. We tried it once, but ended up missing, what band did we miss? Punk Rock Factory. We ended up missing because obviously it was Thursday night. Thursday, was it? Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday was Metallica.
Thursday was Metallica. Stranger Things was no, it wasn't. Everyone took it as Stranger Things was the theme of the fancy dress, but it wasn't, was it? It was Upside Down? Was that the theme?
Upside Down, I think it was.
Yeah.
Everyone took that as Stranger Things, obviously, and so did I, because I love it. Me and my partner dressed up in full Scoops Ahoy attire.
Nice.
But obviously didn't want to do that throughout the whole day, so we were like, right, we'll go in the morning, we'll try this little shuttle bus experiment we got going on. Go back to camp, get changed into our outfits, and then go back. But yeah, it didn't work, and we did miss one of the bands that we did want to see. So it is kind of, when you go in, you're kind of in. There's no going back. You're in for the day. There is no nipping back to your tent for a nap. You're in the arena all day, and of course, again, everybody knows how bloody hot it was. All day with not being able to go back and have a chill or a little sleep if you need it. A bit hard.
How are you with the heat? Are you a hater, or are you good in the heat, or are you like me where I'm like?
I'm okay to a certain point, but again, I'm in my mid-30s, so I'm a sensible person. I can't drink alcohol when it's hot. Water. I am a sad old lady and have a little USB fan that I carry around with me, and a cooling towel as well. So you just put it under water, wrap it around your shoulders, and it cools you down.
None of that is sad. That all sounds pretty good to me.
That setup saved my ass through Lorna Shore with the dust cloud.
Oh yeah.
So my little trio I had of my fan, my water, and my cooling towel saved me. So very happy about that. But yeah, once you're in the arena from Melbourne Hall, you're kind of having to stay there, unless you do have a big chunk in the middle of your bands that you do have a little bit of a break and you have got that time. But like Adam said earlier, I usually do go off and see a lot of bands. I do like to do that. That's what I do. I like to cram in as much as I can, get my money's worth, especially paying the RIP Melbourne Hall prices.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, so that's a problem if people do want to go back. But other than that, I think the general consensus was showers and toilets, fantastic. So proper flushing toilets with little sinks in with water that actually comes out of them, amazing.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
Plenty for all of us. Showers as well, not really much of a queue for showers in the morning, always warm. They said fantastic, always clean. Again, staff did a proper job in keeping everything clean and tidy. Not one speck of rubbish on the field once everyone left either.
Nice.
Which is another good thing. Yeah, they do have recycling bins right at the top. And yes, there's mountains. There's mountains of rubbish around these recycling bins, but it's in the right area.
Yeah.
So the fields are lovely and clean and well looked after and lovely. So
Nice.
I don't know what else there is to talk about it. Is there anything else you guys had any thought on?
Well, we do have a couple of questions from. So I put it into the Discord and said, has anybody got any questions for Hannah about Holcombe House?
Holcombe House.
I was wrong. I did say Holcombe House in the thing. So
you did.
Yes. If you read that in the Discord, I was wrong massively. We did have a chat. I don't know why I said that. I said it right because I thought I was right, I guess. But Melbourne Hall. Melbourne Hall, that's the one. I got there in the end. So yeah, we do have a couple of questions from the Discord. I don't think there's anything else I can think of. I'm probably going to forget it. So I'm probably going to forget it once we do these questions. So I'm going to ask now, if you had the choice to go normal RIP next year or Melbourne
You wanted
Hall,
to say Holcomb House, didn't you? I can see it. You wanted to say it.
which one? Which one do you go for?
So I have already booked Sleepy Hollow for next year.
Nice.
And I was one of those jammy bastards that got it at the really, really early bird price of £615. Ooh,
Awesome.
I know.
Wow.
I'm very proud
Nice.
of myself.
Okay.
Especially after last year and only one ticket at a time, and it just we couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's a good
We got
point.
on it. Yeah, they allowed more than one this year.
Yeah, I've never actually read about whether they did that or not. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
so
always good to
yeah,
know.
let you check out with more than one ticket this year. So I managed to get me and my partner our tickets for next year. Back in Sleepy Hollow, where we belong. Back on
Nice.
site. Take the shuttle bus out of the equation.
Yeah.
And that is basically what RIP is. Apart from a goodie bag, which you also do get in RIP, which plenty of people
Yeah.
were a little bit fucked off about in Melbourne Hall, because again, it was sold as a RIP package, and they thought there should be some sort of thing.
Yeah, so you didn't get one.
No.
Ah.
First year as well, you thought maybe like a little thing, memento or something to say, first
Yeah.
year. I don't know.
Or the big thing, which we haven't actually mentioned, you may have seen Johnny Vegas at some point because he's the person who actually owns Melbourne Hall.
Yeah,
isn't he?
didn't see him.
Yeah, no, yeah, didn't see him.
Didn't see him.
But yeah,
But
no, that's
but-
usually the first thing you say. Like, oh, Melbourne Hall, owned by Johnny Vegas. But yeah, didn't bring
Yeah,
it up today.
He wasn't there. Didn't see
No.
him. But yeah, no, it's his land. I don't know. Does he own the actual Melbourne Hall bit of the hall? I don't know.
I don't know.
Was it just
I have
the
no
ground? No.
I think it's something that people just heard through the grapevine, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, we're not quite sure which bit." He owns something. He owns something.
Some.
Yeah.
But there were options to rent like little weird boats and things like that you could camp in. So it was retreat at Melbourne Hall, but then you obviously chose to pitch next to your tent, or there was already like pre-pitched options. So kind of like, crew huts and things like that you get in RIP, but more random. So yeah, like a boat. Yeah, or a snail. I think one of them was, honestly to God, one of them was like a snail, a big snail. So something made out of a big snail that you could actually go and stay inside.
What the hell is going on, man?
So they were all owned by Johnny Vegas, I think.
It sounds like really cool though. Like I really, really want to do RIP, but we've just been so skint the last couple of years. But eventually, I will do RIP. Like definitely
do it. Honestly, you need to do it.
Yeah,
I won't go back. I won't ever go back.
And that's what everyone says. That's what everyone says now. Everyone's like, no, no, I'm never going to go back to normal camping. I've got my RIP experience. Oh,
and I think that's the problem with Melbourne Hall is that I'd previously already stayed in Sleepy Hollow, so it's kind of like a little bit tarnished by the fact that I'd already stayed in the same thing but on site the year before.
Yeah, and like you said, with it's far, but you can still walk to it, and you can stay out. You can stay out in the village. You don't have to leave sets. Blah blah blah. So yeah, it makes much more sense. I can understand why you've booked it again now.
Yeah. Speaking of leaving sets, another thing that I thought about as we were going through it as well. Were you interested in all of the headliners? Did you have to leave all of them against your will, or was there some that you wanted to stay for longer, or some that you weren't bothered about?
Yeah, so definitely Bring Me, because like you said, Adam, they bloody stole down there, didn't they? Really?
Yeah.
Again, same as you. Not really the biggest fan going in either. But it was the show. It was the show. It was absolutely amazing. And then the more that Ollie sort of sung, the more songs I recognised. But it was the show that went with it. Amazing. So yes, very, very gutted to have to leave that one. Me and my partner were walking down back from the arena. We can still hear it going on, still singing all the way down, which was lovely. Had a little moment there, so that was glorious. Other than that, Slipknot, again, a little bit annoyed we had to leave halfway through that. And Metallica were on twice, so didn't matter really, did it? If I
Yeah,
was going to
you
miss
thought-
one half, I
you're
could see
one-
the second half.
Yeah, you got a full gig out of them.
I got a combined set out of the two to make the
Yeah.
one, so that wasn't too much of a problem.
Okay, good.
But yeah, having to leave, you're like, but they're going to play this song next, and you're waiting for that one song that you've been waiting for the whole set, and you have to call it quits and leave. That's like soul destroying. Gutted. Slipknot played Custer after I left.
Yeah.
Pissed right off.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, that killed me off. So yeah, I'm not selling it very well. Please, guys, honestly, Melbourne Hall is fantastic. Like it really is. It's general camping. If you've never had an RIP experience before, you want to try it. Not for the money, unless they do the dynamic pricing on that. I don't even know if that's been released. Has it?
No
Has
idea.
Melbourne Hall been released this year again? Or
No idea.
I wouldn't have. I don't think they would do those until the actual general tickets go on sale. I would have thought.
because they didn't release them until later when they went out.
Yeah.
Either that was halfway through as well, wasn't it? They announced this rock retreat later on down the line, so maybe they'll do it again next year. I don't know. I don't know whether it was to accommodate the extra people that they'd sold the tickets to. Who knows?
Yeah.
What? Because it was oversold.
There it is. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, no, I think it was very close to selling out, wasn't it? Or it was. I'm not sure if it was after it sold out. But yeah, it did announce a lot of things very late, like also the Camping Plus as well. That came out quite late.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it goes.
What they do for next year, definitely.
I should be on the ticket sites checking all these things. If I was a good host, I would, and I'd have all the information for you all, but I don't. Sorry. No, I don't. Cool. Shall we move?
I like that. I liked that. Shall we move on?
Shall we?
Should
Yes.
we go on to the questions from the Discord, or do you want to talk about shuttle buses again?
God no, I'm done on the shuttle buses.
The return trip of the shuttle buses. It's a shame. It's a shame. Like you said that it was obviously the first year of it happening, so no one knew what was going on. Apparently, Download didn't know what was going on either. But they should have made it a bit better. Just take half a bus. It's fine. You don't have to wait for people.
But on the plus side, because it was the first year, people actually didn't know our access either, which was quite interesting at times.
Didn't know what?
Our access.
Yeah.
Because it was the first year, they had no idea what the wristbands looked like. So apparently people, again, I didn't do it, I'm a good girl, I promise. But people were just waving their bands about and like getting into our actual RIP, or, a couple of people said they went to Park Farm and had a pint there, and it's just like, you're not allowed there. But they were going.
Nice.
Guest areas, things like that. They were just going.
Do you know what? Normally, right, if you look like you're supposed to be there and you just go like that, you're in.
They don't care.
All you've got to do is just look like you're supposed to be there. There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was probably like 9 different types of bands this year. One of the ways I found out what my guest area band, my guest, what's it called? Weekend guest was, I saw a sheet of paper near the entrance, and it had all the different bands on it saying what you could do. So I just stood there looking at that because nobody told me.
I bet they had it there, so they knew what the bands did.
Yeah,
just to remind themselves.
Well, they weren't very informative to the people on what they could do.
No.
So yeah, no one knew.
So that was the only thing. Trying to get out to get the fucking word shuttle bus again. Last time I'm going to use it.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Trying to get out to go back to the transport hub to get a shuttle bus. We were denied access like 3 times. They were like, "No, you don't go this way," and they were like pointing us towards Black Camp. Like, I'm not fucking going in there.
Really?
No offense to anyone in Black. Oh my god, I love Black. Black was back in the days 2006, 7, 8. Black usually. But no. They were trying to direct us round through that way, and I'm like, no, I know where we've got to go. They didn't have a clue what to do with us. Us newbies, our year 1, they are little babies. They didn't know where to place us, so they kind of let us just go feral. So yeah, we were allowed people going into RIP guest areas, just waving their bands about. Yeah,
awesome. Can you can you send me do you have a picture of your band?
Yes.
That's all. Can you send me a picture of it so I can see what it is? I'll probably put it out put it in Discord and out on
I think
social
people
medias.
might be interested.
I can send you pictures of Melbourne Hall, the actual campsite and stuff like that as well. I don't know if you so you're interested, or you guys want to see what the setup's like. I can send you all that as well if you like.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, nice one.
But sorry
Thank
to keep interrupting you. You're trying to
Fine.
do the questions.
You know what we're like.
I do.
It's fine. Okay, yeah. So we have had a couple of questions, I believe, maybe a couple more since putting this out. Where are we? Let's find it. I know one. Got a couple of questions. So I know one sort of the first one from James does ask about food, which you've touched upon, but you might want to add. Might have thought about a couple more bits you might want to add on, but otherwise, I'm sure you've read these already, have you?
I haven't. I actually just.
Oh, you haven't? Ah,
no. I said I wanted to be
awesome.
surprised,
You
so I
wanted to
could
be
ask.
surprised, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. So yeah, first question from James from the Discord. He says, "I'd love to know if they felt a bit distant from the festival in terms of not being able to come and go to the village and arena, etc., or if it was nice to have that degree of separation from the maelstrom." And second part of the question, also, what were the food and vendor options like there? Did they have some kind of merch stand there? Maybe something exclusive like in RIP?
Okay, well, I can answer that last little bit first. They did, but however, I do, and a lot of people did share the same opinion. I think they forgot about us a little bit and then went down to local printers, to the local T-shirt printing business, and just stuck Rock Retreat on the front of a T-shirt and on the front of a cup. And that was basically all you had the option of buying. And ridiculously priced. By the third day, they'd actually almost sort of taken 75% off of the price just to try and shift the shit.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. So
if
yeah,
you have, or if you haven't, if anybody else has got any pictures of that as well, that'd be awesome to see.
Of the merch, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in the WhatsApp group bought anything. At all. So again, I think, teething problems, perhaps first year, it's something they were trialing. Overall, great job, just lacking the finer details of something that is technically was kind of sold as an RIP thing. But that is tiniest little gripe of an amazing experience overall. Other than that, feeling separated from everybody. Yep, I think we covered that enough. Not being able to socialise or catch up, or it is the village and the doghouse and things like that. That is what is part of the experience, or most of the experience is having that stupid little dance to Venga Boys at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Totally, definitely.
It's part of it, But yeah. I missed it, and we were very, very separated. What was the other part of the question, Adam? I've forgotten.
About food vendors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had your tea room that you had to walk to. Coffee place. Apparently, again, being an RIP, I take everything myself. So I take my own coffee and tea, and proper kitted out with everything.
That's because you don't have to carry it. That's why.
Exactly why. Yeah. Exactly why. When you don't have to carry things,
oh man,
it makes
I would
it easier
load
to
that
go,
car up with so much.
I'll just take that, or I'll just take that, because you don't have to go, oh, fuck, I'm really gonna have to carry this a couple of miles. That's awesome. So I do pack extra things, but that does include proper tea, proper coffee, barbecue. So the majority of the time we will barbecue bacon in the morning, have bacon sandwiches at the camp. It's mainly spending so much money on the ticket for download. It's skimping on the food there, so we tend to do a lot of it ourselves.
Adam, you love a bacon in the morning, didn't you? At download,
I do. Yeah, I bought way too much bacon one of the days this year.
He always cooks
it. Is that even
a
real thing?
He always cooks it and never gives me any. Never saves me any. Never.
How
2
could
years
you?
It's been now.
I don't think you were there.
2 years.
Sure, I gave you one last year.
No bacon.
One rasher.
Yeah, here we go. There you go, mate.
But I can't really comment too much on the vendors. But a couple of people did say the coffee was just instant coffee in a cup, which again some people might quite like. I don't know. But when you're paying, I think £3.50 for it, maybe not. What the general consensus was that there should be some sort of on-site little shop or something. You got the co-op in the village, but in RIP they do actually have like a little dude with his little stall that sells like essentials. We could have really done with that, because there was no way I was getting a bag of ice from the co-op back on the shuttle bus back to the camp in that heat. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
the other thing. So
just imagine you want to get a crate of beer as well. That's a long way to go with a crate of beer.
It was so hot in our camp that obviously everybody knows, but one of my cans exploded inside my tent.
Did it?
Yeah.
I remember hearing that happened at
Wow.
Bloodstock a lot last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send you the photo of the can with the top. It looks like someone's actually gone round with like a tin opener and opened it. It just like exploded
Jeez.
Oh,
Inside
yeah.
the
Like,
in the
tent.
tent.
Yeah, what the hell?
inside the tent.
Oh,
I
I'm
heard
sure
of-
at least
yeah.
everything dried off quite quickly.
Adam, like you
Yeah.
said, I heard about it at Bloodstock last year because it was so hot, like loads of people's stuff just exploding in their tents.
Yeah.
But I never heard about it at Download this year, so that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll send you the photo of my can. It's
Okay.
just like I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was like, oh no, it's hot, but seriously, can blowing hot is a new level of heat.
Yeah.
And then I made the stupid decision to go into the Download Mega Store and buy a Download dog candle, which in really hot weather is probably the worst fucking purchase you can make.
Oh, no.
I got him home in one piece though. He's fine.
Okay,
I
good.
left
Nice.
again. Keep the parking next to your tent underneath the car. Keeps everything
Oh.
lovely and cold. So if you want cold drinks,
Yeah.
Classic move.
Ah.
Classic move.
Yeah.
Well done.
so you put your cans under your car where it's lovely and cold. And yeah, you've got lovely cold drinks and a nice candle that isn't all mushed up into a big pile of wax. It's just
Nice.
still Download dog shaped. So
That's
Okay.
brilliant.
Yeah.
I've not heard anybody say about doing that before. That's
I think
awesome.
that was all the questions.
Yeah.
From James.
Next question was from Stu, our very own Stu. Was it on the same grounds as the Outlandish campers? I don't know what that means. That might mean something to you. Was it essentially a campsite where you'd pitch your own tent on the grounds of Holcombe House? Sorry, Stu.
It's
I lulled you
spreading.
into that trap.
People are going to be going on and going, where are the Holcombe House tickets, man?
Yeah.
Where are these things? What's this? What's this other place?
Does that mean was it just a free for all essentially? Like you just rock up and they just go, yeah, here's a field, have fun, just like what general camp or?
I
Is that-
think it's a similar question to what I asked earlier about because one of the normal RIP is just a campsite for the rest of the year. So they've got like the pub there,
I see.
actual brick pub. So yeah, I think maybe that's what he means by that. I don't know about the outlandish campers. Anybody know?
No idea what that means.
No.
We were outlanded, I guess. We were outlandish in a way of being outcast to a degree. But that's don't know if I can answer that one, Soz.
Yeah, no. I think it's basically the same question. I think I have heard that it is used for the rest of the year, just rented out by Johnny Vegas, I assume, or whether somebody else owns that part of it. But yeah, like the little huts and everything, like the boat that you said about and the snail thing, I'd imagine that's part of a campsite that you can go to at any part of the year. But that's just a guess.
Glamping, I guess, to a degree.
Yeah.
So rent out these little weird things, and makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's the questions we had. I only put them out about an hour before we started, so that's all we had. Two questions. It sounds like that's about it. Is there anything else you can think of?
Did I cover everything? I don't know.
I think you have. It seems like it.
The rest of
Yeah.
it is just the experience of this year, and
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
jazz. But I mean, it was
Where
bloody
does
amazing.
Where does this year rank in out of your 5 downloads? How high does this
I
one
would
go?
say it was probably somewhere in the middle, to be fair. Last year, you can't beat last year for me, just from having that big old chunk that I did have to coming back in that fashion, straight into Sleepy Hollow, RIP, going with a couple of my best friends, just made it, So this year, I kind of have to put lower than that, just by default anyway.
Yeah.
The fact that our friends this year didn't get tickets again because of the just releasing one thing, they weren't as dedicated as me about going, so they ended up booking a holiday instead. But I'm like, no, I'm going to fucking download. This is my holiday.
Yeah.
So I'd say probably about second or third. But again, with that 14-year gap in the middle, I can't remember quite a lot of them.
So talking about last year, because obviously so much has changed since the last time you went. Was it a bit of a shock about how the site's moved over and like everything's just different now? I bet you were like, probably didn't even feel like the same festival apart from when you were in the arena.
completely different.
Yeah.
Absolutely completely different. So oh my god, the first year, I swear one year did they put it on the racetrack with the under the Dunlop things?
Yeah,
the big like tires.
Yes,
From
that was
2003 to 2007.
Yeah,
So
7 would have been there.
Yeah, I remember obviously it being there. So that was hard standing, which was great because that's where all the stalls and stuff was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, right along the track.
Yeah. Oh, see, I can remember a little bit more than I thought. That's great. And obviously, like I said to you, Adam, just going to see the bands, that's what I go to download to do. I try and cram in as much as I possibly can, just because you've paid a price, and I want to see the music. That's what I'm there for.
Yeah, it's fair.
But I would also like to be there for the good times. But obviously this year there was no good times because I couldn't go to the village. So
yeah,
it's got to be that happy medium.
Wouldn't say
No good times. Well, limited a little bit more on my capacity to have a good time, I think. Having that constant worry of shit, we've got to go pretty sharpish.
Yeah.
Constantly being on your mind, watching Slipknot and constantly having that fuck. I got to leave pretty soon just to get a shuttle bus back. It sucks a little, but it can't dampen your experience. You make it what you want it to be at the end of the day. Yes, it was hot, but be sensible. So yeah, I know there's been a lot of complaints about, it was just too hot. But if you have a cool towel like me, like the sad old lady I am,
and a USB fan.
And a USB fan, and not. I couldn't drink alcohol. I just can't. Like, I would just pass out if I even attempted. And again, I am in the mid-30s, and of the older generation of mid-30s, not the ones that still are down with the kids and awesome. the crocheting, knitting, old granny, cool towel, USB fan, kind of granny.
Well, there was a lot of other people like that there, so you were fine. You're with your crew.
That's all good. I was fitting right in there. That's all good. Oh, and I packed cooling spray as well. That's glorious. Cooling spray is a thing. It's just cold in a can.
Cold in a can.
Like, is it deep heat? But they do like a cold one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like that, but just water, and it makes you cool. So when it got really, really hot, just like get your can out, have a quick spray. Cooled you down pretty quick.
You done well, because that's one thing I did not think of when I got there. I was like, I've brought no cooling solutions with me at all. Like, I didn't bring a fan. I didn't bring anything, and I was like, what was I thinking? I should have done all of these things. So you done well.
So one of the guys bought a squirty bottle from the tattoo studio that he works in, that they use just to squirt Bactine or disinfectant around. Took that in empty. And just filled that up with water, just having a lovely old water fight while we were in the arena. It was glorious.
Nice.
Good way to keep cool. That saved us on a few occasions. Yeah. Apart from when you're actually trying to concentrate, you don't realise and you're getting squirted in the back of the head. Bit scary, but
I don't think I've even heard of cooling spray since about 2007. I think the first person I knew the first time I ever knew it existed was, I think, one of our friends, Michaela, brought it to download, and I was like, "What is that?" And it was cooling spray. And now this is the first, so it's like almost 20 years later. It's the first time I'm hearing it again, or second time I'm hearing about it.
It's back.
Well, there you go, because we've known each other pretty much identical time to when you used to hang about with Michaela. And
yeah.
So, yeah, that's mad. There you go. Memories.
Yeah. But yeah, I was going to say, you said earlier about wanting to go to actually see the bands. And I think when I was of the mindset that we hadn't actually been sort of together or with the same group. After I said that, I then remembered, I'd sort of come out of my tent all groggy in the morning, and you're just stood there ready to go to the arena already. Like,
you've got that memory just flashback right now of me.
Yeah, probably every morning, probably most mornings. Like,
it's
like,
nice.
How are you going there already?
Yeah. So even this year, we were, even with the shuttle bus scenario, in the arena for 12-ish every day, pretty much, if we could. Nice. Nice. Very happy to have catched some of those early bands, because I would have hated to have missed out on some of those. Especially, I just want to say, Polaris lost their guitarist quite recently, very, very suddenly after download. So catching Polaris at download was one of my highlights personally. And sending all love and regards to family, and they're still going, they're still continuing their tour, and stuff like that, and fair play on them. That can't be easy to do.
Oh yeah.
But they've
Yeah.
got what he wanted. He would want them to have carried on, I think. So I think they're doing it in his honour, his memory, and they should be proud of themselves. They did a really good job at Download.
We would have watched them because my friend Harry's a huge Polaris fan. But I think Antisaint were on at the same time, weren't they, Ad?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think they were.
So you guys were at Antisaint, and
Yeah, we were at
I was there
Antisaint.
at Polaris.
Yeah.
So a few early bands that we managed to catch, and that was one of the ones I was happy about catching. So that's why I get up early and go to the arena. I try and catch as much as I can. But on the same side of it, it's catching the stuff that I didn't necessarily really want to catch, like 3 bands being cut off on the was it the second stage? So was it Cats of Bats got cut off?
Yeah.
Did they? Oh.
Elvana.
Yeah.
So Elvis fronted Nirvana band.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely got. I was annoyed. I was like, they're about to go into the last song, and I was like,
They got cut off. Then
okay.
my lovely boys of Dinosaur Pileup, bless them, didn't get cut off, but didn't start. I think there was technical problems or sound issues, and obviously there was sound issues on that stage. I think again, going back to what you said about the wind and them having to have sort of speakers coming out a little bit more just to stop that sound from carrying.
Yeah, they need some towers on that stage.
They needed to, because the sound on second stage was a little bit here and there. Some bands I saw on that stage were absolutely glorious. So Stray from the Path were on that stage. They did a great great job. Avatar as well, managed to catch Avatar.
Missed them. Yeah.
They did good. But Dinosaur Pileup not being able to start and then only being able to play 4 songs kind of sucked a little.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I saw them at Trees. They were amazing. So it's kind of
they're so good at Trees. So I saw them at Trees last year.
Yeah.
Trees is another festival that is just glorious and
100%.
that we love. Yeah,
love that festival.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Awesome. We should probably start to wind it down there. Before that, though, Hannah, do you have a sort of a favourite memory from this? What was your best bit about this year's download?
Best bit?
There's
so many.
Yeah.
Oh, of course I do. Either bring me, if we're talking band experiences, or being photographed by the guy that did the Humans of Download. So Danny North.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he approached me and my partner and asked if we would like to be part of the Humans of Download.
So is your
awesome.
Is your picture anywhere then?
It isn't, because he did it on the Sunday, which was the final day. So we were like, yeah, we're going to be on the big screens between all the adverts and all that jazz. It was on the Sunday, and obviously he must have taken a lot and had to edit, the ones that obviously would look the best, or were the best photographs of that day, or what have you. But I messaged him after download, and he was kind enough to send me the photos over. So
nice.
It is on my Instagram, the picture that he took, which was just amazing, just to be picked out and actually spoken to. Was lovely. That was a really, really sort of great experience. Not something that happens every day, is it?
No.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
That was amazing, and I'm really happy that we got asked to do that. So yes, that was probably my highlight, if not probably bring me for the show. Musically, can I go that far? Can I say who the best band musically was?
Say whatever you want. You're the star of this show at the moment.
Know. Yeah, that's hard. I just love Stray from the Path. I'm really sorry. I just do. I love the guys from Stray. The drummer, Craig, has his own podcast called The Downbeat, which is really, really good. He does interviews with other people. Yeah, I've got the Downbeat tattoo. Yeah, I'm that sad.
Wow, okay. Wowza.
Yeah, I've got a stickergram tattoo. I love the guys from Stray. I love Craig. I love everything that they do. I love their message. Political, I just love them. Every time I see them, it's just great. They get the crowd going. They were on the second stage, but that didn't really matter. And they were on quite early, I think, but it didn't matter. Other than that, stage show, Electric Cool Boy, we're okay. Once you got into the tent, that is.
Yeah. I heard
when you got in. And I've had a lot of people complaining that they should have been on a bigger stage, but they actually wanted to be on that stage because of the lights, the stage show. Okay. It wouldn't have been so present out, because again, they were on in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
They're not on pitch black at night, where all these like laser beams and all this fun stuff going on is going to really have that bigger impact on the crowd. So I believe it has been said that they actually did ask to be put on in an indoor
It makes sense.
setting.
Yeah.
So yeah, the stage show for that was great too. But yeah, they were my highlights. And seeing everybody and saying hello and everyone that came and commented on, tattoos or, whatever, mutual interests, girls leaving like cute little messages inside the like portalies and stuff like that. Little things that like
Nice.
people wouldn't think about, or just even like hilarious ones. Just going into a portally and having a little hilarious message inside your door just made the day. I quite
Nice.
like a portally message.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, I think so. We are going to have to wind it down here. I'd love to carry on talking for a long time. I've probably said that for all of the interviews we've had on this episode. But we have to stop somewhere. So, Hannah, thank you so much for coming on. It's been really cool having you on and having a chat with you.
You are very welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
you
you
for
very
asking.
much. Yeah, thanks
No
for coming.
problem. And yeah, hopefully people have got a bit of an insight of what it would be like to go next year to
Holcombe House.
Melbourne. Do you know what? I'm going to cut out every time we say Holcombe House.
No,
you
can't.
You say
You can't.
You're not allowed.
I can't do that anyway because we're all recording this. It's all going to be one audio. Anyway, yes, thank you so much for coming on. It's been awesome. Do you want to give any shout outs to anyone before we say goodbye?
Oh, me? Shout outs?
Yeah.
Oh,
Shout outs. We do
Shout
shout outs, and then plug anything.
Yeah, do you want to
want.
promote
Plug
anything? Say hello
anything.
to anyone?
Yeah.
I don't have any plugs or anything. I plugged the downbeat already, so there you go.
Yeah.
I plugged that. I plugged the WhatsApp group also, apparently.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. There's my shout outs. Everybody that I came across at Download that was kind enough to say hello. The guys of the WhatsApp group that I did meet. Some of you didn't. I am a little bit of an anxious ball of mess, so I do tend to walk around with my eyes stuck to the floor the majority of the time. So, sorry that I didn't say hello to you guys, but hopefully there's next year and we'll meet up and we'll have a little. We were the first year of Melbourne Hall or Holcombe House. Run a union.
Get
Yeah.
the hoodies. Melbourne Hall
God.
of
Yeah.
23.
But anyone staying in Sleepy Hollow next year, if you see a flag, I'm hoping to get a flag done for our camp next year. So if you see a flag that just says Camp William on it,
Camp
that's us. Come and say hello. We're friendly people. We like to chat. Everyone's welcome.
Cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and Hannah. It's been a pleasure. We have to say bye now. Thank you very much for coming on.
Bye. Thank you.
And that's the three interviews. And yeah, that was 3 really cool chats with 4 really cool people.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the combos, man. Very, very good. Very enlightening in different ways. So yeah, awesome. Really good. Glad we did it.
Yeah, definitely. And we will try and have we'll have all of them back on if they want to come back on. I'm pretty sure we said we'll have Antisaint on again. And
Yeah,
Stu,
definitely.
we had to cut short a little bit. I think I felt so bad having to cut it off where we did.
Nah, fuck him, mate. Fuck him.
I think it was a really cool chat, what it was, but I think we had a bit of technical issues at the beginning, didn't we? So, and then we had Antisaint on at a specific time, so we had to basically say, right, that's it for this chat. I'm afraid, Stu. But yeah, we did say as well to Stu, we'll have you back on, absolutely.
Definitely.
And that's it for this episode. Thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate each and every one of you that listen to even just to one episode, but I know most of you listen to more than one, and most of you have listened to multiple episodes, which is absolutely amazing. Next episode, I think is going to be a pre-Bloodstock episode.
Yes, possibly.
Yeah. We'll work on that. We're definitely doing a Bloodstock episode after download. Not
After download?
Oh dear. After Holford House. After Bloodstock. Even. Right. I'm with it. I'm in the room.
He's in the room.
We have to say a massive thank you to our Patreons, as always. The absolute legends they are. And that's James Harrison, Alexander Toon, Jacob, Dean Delicado, George Butler, and Christopher Hambridge. And I think I said I was going to share George's TikTok because he keeps tagging us. and I don't think I put it in the last episode. I only realised a couple of days ago. So it will definitely be in the episode notes for this one. I do apologise. I do apologise, George, and thank you for all the messages you've been sending me recently. It's absolutely amazing. I've actually gotten to listen to Saliva. All of my talking about Saliva, and he said to me, I'll come back and listen to loads of it. So yeah, awesome.
Good.
But yeah, all of you absolute legends. Thank you so much for supporting us. We really do appreciate it. If anybody else wants to become a Patreon, we have 2 tiers at the moment, both support tiers, a £3 tier and a £5 tier. For £3, we will say a massive heartfelt thank you in the next episode. For £5, we'll say a massive heartfelt thank you to you in every episode. And every single penny we get goes back into the podcast. And I know I said I was going to have some merch ready for this episode. It's been a little bit delayed, but hopefully next episode. It's going to be very, very soon. I'll tell you that. I do apologise, but yeah, we'll be very, very soon. If you don't want to become a Patreon, the best thing you can do is just tell your friends about us, or leave us a review on whatever app you're using, whatever website you're using. If you can, leave reviews. Or if you're using Spotify, you can actually go up to the top of our page and it's got a little star rating. You can give us only 5 stars, please. But we're about 52 star ratings now, which is great for a small, relatively small podcast. You know, all the
awesome.
Big people who are already famous before doing podcasts, they got loads. But the small people like us, we are doing really, really well. So thank you to everybody who's already done that. Really appreciate that. Only 69% of you have starred us. No, 69% of you haven't starred us. But yeah, no. Like I said, do all the good things you can. I'm sure you've heard lots of people say all these kind of things. Telling your friends about us is the best form of advertisement that you can do, as long as it's in a good way, in a positive way. Don't go over and say, Adam and Simon are fuckers, because that won't help us. But I'm
still going to help.
I'm rambling.
It may be true, but it won't help.
It may be true. No. But yeah, loads of other things you can find in the episode notes. You can find our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I believe, is in there. You can find Simon's YouTube. We'll have another word about that in a second from you, Simon. What else can you find there? The Patreon, email address. We haven't said this for a while, but we'd love to hear from any and all of you about anything you want. I was thinking today we could do like a Q&A episode, not a whole episode, but yeah, just saying like, what questions do you have for us? You should ask us anything.
We'll definitely. I mean, I'm sure we could turn a Q&A into an entire episode, because I'm sure we'll go off on tons of tangents. Yeah. So again, something we will definitely do in the future.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, well, Simon, did you want to talk about your YouTube a little bit more?
I've got 2 things to talk about quickly. I love plugging my own stuff on my own show. What an arsehole. What an absolute arsehole. Yes, as you well know, I do a YouTube. If some of you don't know that, please come and subscribe, because we've mentioned 69, and that's how many percentage of you don't subscribe to the channel. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. And I bring a Friday video out every Friday, and they're really good. And the Bloodstock vlog I am looking forward to, because it's always a mental way to end the year. So obviously a couple of weeks till that one's out. And yeah, the 9 Lives single under my electronic alter ego Mercury Night will be out on the 25th of August. So I think in the next episode I'll get Adam to put a pre-save link into the episode so everyone can pre-save it for when it comes out and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's it from me. But thank you very much to everyone listening. As always, love you all on the Discord. And love everyone for listening. So thank you very much.
Awesome. I still don't know what pre-saving is or does. What's the benefit?
I basically just say on Spotify, because it'll be on everything. It'll be on Apple and everything. But that I only know from Spotify experience. If you click it, it goes into your music, like into your sort of saved library. Yeah. So they already have it, and it notifies you as well. So when they open the app for the first time, when the single's out, it will say straight to the front of it. It will say, "Hey, this new Mercury Night single's out. You've pre-saved it. Do you like to listen to it?" Okay. Obviously, that's free. It won't cost anyone any money because it's Spotify. So yeah.
Okay, awesome.
It's cool.
I remember Antisaint putting out when they put out Paradise. We were downloaded. They put out a link to pre-save it, and I was going to. And it went to a website, and it said to log into my Spotify on this website, and I was like, well, I trust Antisaint, but I don't really want to do that, so I didn't.
Oh yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, yes, pre-save it.
Yeah. Well, we'll put the link in the next episode. Yeah, I don't have the pre-save link quite yet, but we will by the next episode. So, sweet.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for listening. It's a goodbye from Simon.
Goodbye.
And a goodbye from me. Goodbye.